Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Testing. I don't know how this is gonna work. Let's see how it goes. See if anybody joins in. I don't know if the word got out there. It is Saturday afternoon here in Japan, so I think it's gonna be what Friday night for you guys, either on the East Coast, West Coast. Maybe it's already Saturday now on the East Coast. We're gonna see what's cracking. Got some people in here already. Tech is up in the place to be. What up, homie? What up, Doe? Thank you for joining in. Appreciate whoever hit that like button. What's cracking, my brother? How you doing? Appreciate everybody hitting that like button. Enzo in the place to be. What up? What up? What up? Sandman, the place to be. What up? How are things? I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm actually in really good spirits right now. Y'all let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if I'm holding up. Bernard is up in the place to be. Hey, what's up? How's everything going? Life is good. We're going to talk about all that, man. We know we're going to get into that. Good evening. So, good afternoon from here. Konbanwa. How y'all doing, man? Carpenter, Mike, what up, man? I was just watching your latest live. Oh, man, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was trying to say on there that I was going to do like a more full, more robust live this time around since it's the weekend. I figured it would be more people that could come on, more people could, get on, chop it up with your boy. So thanks. I really, you know what? While we're there, man, I really appreciate y'all, like, actually going back and watching the lives, man. I've been getting a lot of comments, people commenting on the live. The numbers keep going up. So that is great. And thank you guys very much. Tech says smoking both the M81 and the S84 at the same time tonight. Now, see, that's some comparison right there. No doubt. I got a nice little comparison too. I got a nice little comparison too. Not quite the same level as you, Tech, but I want to hear your thoughts on that as we go on throughout this episode. I want you to tell me your thoughts between the 81 and the 84, because the only person I know right now who's had that is Michael from Massey Ash. That's the only other person I know that's experienced that. So audio is perfect. My man. Oh man, things are well, man. How's everybody? So before we get in there, how's everybody doing, man? While y'all are typing that in, let me know how you guys are doing. How your Friday night is treating you. What you're smoking on. Let's get into that before you know the Zodiac starts speaking, because this is the Zodiac speaking today. That's what we're doing today. What's good, my guy? What's good with you, man? Glad you joined in, roast beef. What up? I fixed it. I finally got the notification. Smoking the Oliva Robusta. Oliva. Oh, okay, nice. Good smokes going tonight, man. Everybody vibing tonight. I hope everybody's doing well. I just sent my son's best friend home. They're going back to the United States for a little while, so my son had a sleepover. So he had some time to kick it with his friend last night, man. Wife and I did breakfast this morning. So now that everybody's kind of going their separate ways, it's time to smoke my best. So this is how I'm gonna spend my Saturday afternoon. I'm gonna kick it with you guys for whatever the time frame is gonna be. So while we're doing that, I want y'all to get the word out, man. Like I'm kind of fascinated by how many people are enjoying the lives. I didn't know how the lives are gonna go. I know I do it kind of sporadically. I know I do it at night, but the support has been wonderful. So y'all get the word out, man. Let people know that the lives are going. Let people know if they want to join in. Start hanging out with me, because this is how I'm gonna do the show. Also want to give a big shout out to the homie uh, at Cigar Hound Dog, my man Matt. He just reached 20K subscribers, 20,000 subscribers, man. That is a feat for us in this cigar culture, man. So we're gonna be celebrating him tomorrow. So if you guys are on now, around the same time tomorrow, we're gonna be doing a live for Matt, man. So it's gonna be a lot of us up there. Everybody just showing love to the homie for making great strides in the cigar community. So I definitely want to give that man a round of applause. It's cool because everybody, y'all get to see the cigar hound dog. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get to see the cigar aficionado, the reviewer, the person who is reviewing a lot of different cigars, who's eloquent and articulate in his speech and delivering his flavor profiles, his favorite notes. He has a great status that he's doing up there as far as like rating the cigars and all that. But on the back end, I get to kick it with Matt, and he's really become a homeboy. You know, he's really become a friend, and it's really like to build a relationship with the dude, man. To get to see his sophomoric sense of humor, and to really like to just see him as as a guy at home with his wife, with a dog, and just to be a person. It's good to have him as a friend. You guys see how he is throwing out the bombs and all that kind of stuff, but he really is just humble and down to earth like that, and it's just a funny dude. So I got nothing but love for that man, and I'm happy to see him making strides. So everybody can continue to show love to the Cigar Hound Dog, my homie Matt, man. I just want to give him big love on that. Steven, what up, man? It's good to see you in here, baby. What up, man? I'm glad I came in here tonight, man, with the people showing love right now. It's been amazing, man. So I think I picked the right time to come through with this one. Let's see, we got the S84. It's the new one. Yeah. So I know that was a shot to tech on that one. No, it's not Infamous tomorrow, Mike. It's just Matt. We just celebrating with Matt, man. It's just gonna be one of his impromptu get-togethers. That's all that is. So I'm saying that now so everybody can tune in. It's gonna be on his channel, and so it's gonna be a lot of people in there. It's gonna be a lot of conversation back and forth. Everybody just kicking it like good fellas. So not Infamous. To my knowledge, it's gonna be on Cigar Hound Dog's channel. That's all. That's what I know as of right now. So, Steven, man, how did that bomb treat you, man? Let me know, if that was okay, and let me know if everything went well. So, once again, everybody, thank y'all for coming in. Thank you for kicking it with your boy. We already 7 minutes in, and this is rare for me. I haven't lit up the cigar yet. Y'all don't even know what I'm smoking yet. Y'all got a guess of what I'm gonna light up tonight? This is your Zodiac speaking. Can you crack the code? Do you have an idea of what I will be lighting up for Smoke Your Best Cigars? Let me see that pop up in the comments, man. I got a backup too, but this one should be interesting, man. I want to see what you guys think of, expect for me to light up tonight. Hey, you must be one of those cigar bandit cats, Mike. You got it. Yeah, the dragon. And just the other day, just yesterday, it seems to be the Davidoff, phase for me right now. Just yesterday, I had a Davidoff #2. Want to give a shout out to the homie Bait Dave for sending it out to me. That was a good guess though, Enzo. I do have that Mil Diaz now. Want to give a shout out to Peter as well for sending me both of these cigars. He sent me the Mil Diaz Maduro that I cannot wait to try, and he sent me this year the Dragon as well. So, but I kind of wanted to cut and light this one and get it out of the way because I've been so dead set on getting rid of these, Zodiac cigars. Like that, like I'm so over this trendy type thing. But I did take the time to look into this cigar. I have heard pretty mixed reviews about the cigar in general. And y'all know how I am. I just like to explore. I like to see what's out there. I like to see what people are actually smoking on anyway. And I'm gonna try to buy into the hype, man. I'm gonna see if this Davidoff is gonna do the thing. I just had a Davidoff the other day from Dave Bate, and it was the Davidoff #2. It was a Panatella. It had a lot of patina on it, some really good age. It was a nice cigar. It gave me some tea-like notes, very floral type notes, some vanilla. And for a Davidoff, it was actually pretty good. Usually those white labeled Davidoffs, I'm really not a big fan, but that was cool. So Mike said I already smoked the Year of the Dragon, but I'll light up the Millennium Lancero. Still a Davidoff. Thanks for smoking in solidarity with me, homeboy. Appreciate that. Yeah, good luck if you can find one of these roast beef. It's not easy. So Steven said I'm in Portland on business. Wow, okay, man. I want to get to Portland bad, so I can make the live. I got you with the West Coast vibes right now. That's what's up. He said I haven't smoked any of them yet. I'll light up one when I get back next week. That's fair enough, man. I appreciate you. I'm just glad it made it to you safe, man. Thanks for giving me the heads up. It's been kind of an adventure getting cigars out to people. And if you saw my last live, if you saw like it was one of those things where somebody kind of was a little upset with me. They didn't get the bomb from me fast enough, man. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. So this Davidoff here that we have is a Davidoff um, Year of the Dragon. I think it's the Ecuadorian wrapper on it, and it has the shaggy foot there, which is kind of interesting and unique. I think it was a Dominican. I think this binder right here is Dominican, and I think the filler was Nicaraguan, Dominican, and Mexican. I'm doing that off the top of my head, so y'all can check up on me and make sure I'm right on that. Kind of curious. I know I don't really do reviews and all that kind of stuff anymore, but maybe I still got some chops left. I'm kind of interested. I want to see like what it's gonna be in this first third. I think that's the main thing that's kind of exciting me right now with from just going with just the binder and the filler, and then moving into with the wrapper. I want to see if there's going to be enough transition in there, just flavor profile. I hope it draws well. The draw that I had on the number 2 wasn't excellent. Cold draw is pretty good though. So let's see what we got. I got some things to talk about, nothing major, but if you guys, whatever's coming up in the chat, man, whatever y'all want to, chime in, y'all want to ask about, we can do that too. We're gonna be kind of free flowing today. We're gonna smoke our best cigars, and we're just gonna kind of flow and go with the flow. Roseby said, just watch your top 10 all time. Went to the lounge out in Sacramento. Shouts out to Sac. That's the wifey's area. And what they had from your list was $20 to $30 a stick. You know what, man? I think a lot of that is, I don't know what like, I know just the taxes in Cali are ridiculous. Just in general, just trying to get cigars. I never really got into cigars while I was in Sacramento. I never really had the time out there. But I don't know if they're just like jacking the prices up, because some of those all time are all time because they're some of the best cigars that are out there. And, when you're talking about an eye of the shark, when you talk about a bull or something like that, they can get kind of expensive. But a lot of those cigars that I had on that list weren't like super expensive. And I think it's just that those California prices that got you, man. I'm sorry that you experienced it like that. But that's my all-time list. Majority of those are going to be accessible. Majority of them, not all of them, are going to be accessible, that you can get to them. And, so just take your time to smoke through them just to see what your experience is like with that. I think it's kind of cool that you wanted to take the time out to try my top 10 list and see what you thought about that. I think that's the most fun part about doing those top 10 lists, especially for my all-time, man. For some of you guys are just trying to see what my experience is, just to kind of see what my palate is, or just trying to enjoy some of the same cigars that I enjoy, man. I think that's really cool. It's a lot of oak right now. That's the main thing I'm getting. That's right, mainly the shaggy foot right now is giving me oak. I know this thing is what is it? They gave it 2 names. It was like a Toro Extra, and it was like what do they call it, like a double Corona or something like that. They gave it 2 names. I'm not really sure, but the draw, man, it's so open. I'm not getting a lot, and I just wonder if it's because it's so much cigar right now. I like the shaggy foot because I really try to focus on the change in the flavors. Yeah, that's kind of what I try to do. Sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can't. Ben, what's up, man? Thank you for joining in. He said, I got a box of bulls from Emerson's at MSRP last month. Can't wait to get into them, man. That's what's up. Emerson's had a box of bulls? Yeah. Emerson's getting down like that right now. That's a good look, man. That was a good find. Sal up in the place to be. What up, man? No Sharker Bull, but the Dunbarton and the Warp were in that price range. Yeah, that's just the Cali prices, man, because Dunbarton is generally going to be anywhere from, like, depending on the Dunbarton, it's going to be anywhere from like 12 to 18. But then when you get in like the Sun Compromisos and stuff like that, you might spend 20 to 30 on that. But with those Cali prices, they can really go up there, man. Space City is up in here. Hey, yo, EKB and the brothers in the chat. What up? Thank you for showing love to the chat, homie. Thank y'all for clicking that like button, too. Much appreciated on that. We got Texas tourists up in the place to be, man. Yeah, go grab a drink, man. Go grab a drink, kick it with us. Was gonna ask for referrals out here, but you already said you didn't know. Yeah, I don't know much about the Sac area, man. Like my wife is from there. I've picked it there. The main thing I know about Sac is I spent down some time downtown near the Golden One Arena. Um, my wife was in the Meadowbrook area, I think that's what it was, near Elk Grove or something like that. And we went to that little old town spot. I can't remember what the place is called. It's an old town area. And they got a spot out there called Willie's Burgers. And Willie's got like a Carolina style burger that's out there. Willie's Burgers was slapping. It's not that weak in and out bullshit. Willie's Burgers was a slap. So that's pretty much my knowledge of Sac, other than just kind of, going in and out, to her friends' houses and stuff like that. It's smoking a lot better now. From the binder and filler, I'm getting a lot of wood. I'm ready. It's starting to move into the wrapper a little bit here, so I'm kind of curious to see how this is gonna change. Old Sac, yeah. Old Sac. You got people. You got the low riders out there. It got the real old school vibe. Some good food in that area too. Yeah. So Old Town Sac. I went out there maybe 2 or 3 times when the wife went back home. Halfway through the West Tampa Red. What you thinking about that West Tampa, man? I'm getting a lot of mixed feedback on this West Tampa stuff. I haven't gotten to the Red yet, but I'm getting a lot of mixed feedback with this West Tampa. That's really strong oak. That's the main thing that I'm getting right there. A little bit of pepper, some really strong oak, not too much more. We're gonna see. It's a lot more robust than I was expecting for a Davidoff though. Like this is up there like body and strength wise up there with like the late hours. That's kind of crazy. He said Willie's is on the hit list. Most definitely get up in there, man. Like, look, being from North Carolina, man, like it's one of those things that I still got a taste for that old school burger style. I still like chili on my burger. I still like some really good, melted American cheese. I still like my buns all steamy, you know what I'm saying, with some mustard and some onions. That still tastes like home to me. Like back when I was a kid, we had a spot called Clark's Burgers that was in the hood that we used to go to. It was ran by some people that was in the neighborhood. And it was just a mom and pop spot, a place where people would go after church and all that kind of stuff like that. And when you would get it, like you would get the burgers and they would wrap it in the foil paper and then they would put it in the plastic bag and you would have all the grease on the bag and whatnot. And you take it out, you got chili dripping out everywhere. That tastes like home to me, man. So when I was out in Cali and I was able to get that at Willie's and it tastes just like back home, I was like, we can come back here all we want. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get my wife to actually move back to Sac, man. She don't want, how it's like most people don't want to go back home. They want to explore, live somewhere outside of home. I was like, man, if I can eat like this, go to some Kings games, watch the Warriors, sound good to me. You asked how long have I had it resting? I couldn't even tell you. Okay, I can taste the difference in that wrapper now. It's mellowed out just from the wrapper being in there. Um, this literally just came in. Like I probably had this for maybe a few days. So depending on how long Peter from Cigar Collective Unbanded had it resting, it's going to be up to how long he had it resting. He had it set at with the humidity pack. I think it was set at like 69, and I literally just let it sit in my humidor for maybe 2 or 3 days or so at 64. So I didn't do dry boxing. I didn't do all that. It's burning perfectly well. Like there's no problems. I didn't. I'm not trying to do science projects for these cigars, man. Either they gonna smoke well or they not. You know what I'm saying? Like I really try not to do that. But it's smoking like it should. It's just a big cigar, man. Let's see. Rob said I dug into some of the Dunbar Tobacco and Trust Cigars. I really like the Meat Lovers. Meat Lovers is getting a lot of love right now. A lot of love right now. But the Stillware Star Navy didn't do much for me. What's your experience with it? So the Navy one, it didn't really hit me as well. The year 22 with the I don't know if it's like the holiday blend. I think that's what it's called. That's the one that kind of like it caught me the first time. And the second time I had it was like okay, it's pretty good. Third time it wasn't as great, but I think that was the year 23 was the one that I had most recently, and I didn't love it. But the first few times that I had it, I really enjoyed it. So I still dig the Still Will Star, man. Sometimes like when I like that aromatic profile that it gives. Sometimes like the actual flavor for the profile tastes as good as it smells. And when it does, that's one of the best cigars just to kind of kick with, just to stay mellow. Drink a good root beer, drink something, that's sweet and has some nice flavor profiles with it. It blends really well. I'm glad you enjoyed that Meat Lovers though. You probably enjoyed that better than I did because when I had that cigar, it was if you guys saw the review, I had it with the Wagyu and some wine, and that Wagyu took over everything. That Wagyu was so oily and so rich and so savory that it just killed Saka's cigar, man. So I got to actually go back and revisit that cigar. So, all right. He said, Ben said, help me pick which is first. Sanj RS88 Habano Lancero or the RS88 Maduro Toro. If you asking me, I'm going with the Maduro. We can let everybody else in the chat to kind of get a feel for what they, what opinion they have on that. But I really like the Maduro. I did a review for the Maduro, and shouts out. That's gonna lead me into a segue here to when I did that review of the Maduro. I used D Nice, and D Nice was like when I was a kid. He was like one of those rappers that I just kind of. He was one of the early rappers that I fell in love with. From Self Destruction, they call me D Nice, the TR-808. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had some really good hip hop, man. And so it was kind of fun to put that in with the Maduro. I was using the 808 and the 88, RS88 on that. And it was just a fun review to do. And now, D Avo. And for them to use D Nice is coming out. Y'all still everybody? I think the last thing I was talking about before I went out, man, I was talking about D Nice during the pandemic when he was DJing for everybody. And so now it's just kind of cool to see everything coming full circle for D Nice, getting a lot of love, getting love in the cigar industry, man. And they haven't hit me in a while. The ones that I've had will actually, be honest, kind of disappointing. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna try this cigar just for my love of D Nice. So, y'all let me know, man, if y'all can hear me. I know it's still a few of y'all in here. I should be back. I'm sorry that went out for a minute. Texas was saying having the West Tampa Red, not terrible, but not getting the cherry notes from the one time I really liked it. Give it time, man. Maybe by the time you get to the heart of it, maybe that will kind of grow and improve. And see if that but sometimes it's tobacco, man. Tobacco goes up and down, so it's like that sometimes. Said, hey Ben, I would say get the RS88 Cameroon for sure. Follow it up with the Connecticut next, no doubt. But he was asking for like right now. I guess he has the Lancero in hand right now and the Maduro. He was trying to decide which one to light up. Nah, no Diddy, man. ain't nobody smoking that cigar, Jack. I'm pretty sure a lot of people had their mouth on that cigar, but it wasn't the kid. So I can't speak for what they got into. Steven said, take that. That's funny, man. Y'all mad funny. All right. I'm just kind of curious to see what y'all gonna think. Since we're gonna do that, I was, since we were talking about hip hop, we was talking about D Nice, and we might as well move into Diddy. I know people want to talk about Diddy right now. Ricardo is up in the place to be. What up, man? Yo, I'm not dealing with the Karl Malone cigar either, man. Y'all don't know. Like I talked about this before. I cannot stand Karl Malone. I couldn't stand Karl Malone when he was in the NBA. I hated Karl Malone. And then when I found out like what Karl Malone was really like as a person, oh, I can't stand Karl Malone, man. That's one of the cats like there's a list of NBA players that I cannot stand. You got James Harden, you got LeBron, and Karl Malone would probably be on the top of that list. Same way I am with that Guy Fieri cigar. There's no way you would ever get me to smoke that Karl Malone cigar. I don't want no parts of it. I don't care what it tastes like. I'm never smoking that cigar. Never gonna do it. Twink, man, what up, man? Thank you for joining in. How about the Mike Tyson new stick? That's going with Gurkha. So I talked about this before too, Rob. That I love Mike. Iron Mike is my guy, man. Growing up in the '80s, being in the martial arts, following Mike Tyson. I remember those 60-second fights. I remember like getting them on pay-per-view and watching them in the whole nine. But it's still a Gurkha. I know Mike getting the bag. It's the same thing. He's getting the bag with Gurkha. He's getting the bag fighting Jake or Logan or whatever Paul, whatever that steroid kid is. I know what Mike doing right now, man. So I'm disappointed, but I'm not. Because I understand the place that Mike is in right now. When you a martial artist, when you're a pugilist and you're a fighter, that fighter is always gonna be in you, and that energy is always gonna be there. That you always want to get off, and that you always want to fight and have some kind of you got to be able to get that energy out. So this is a way for him. He had the exhibition with Roy Jones, and now he's gonna be able to get in the ring and kind of throw a couple exhibition punches. I'm not mad at it. Get your bag, homie. Take care of your family. But as far as that Gurkha cigar, the chance is slim to none that I would like that cigar. I'm not gonna say I won't have it like with a Karl Malone or with that Guy Fieri cigar. I will not have those cigars. That Mike Tyson one, if somebody was just like, hey, I know you like Mike Tyson, here's the cigar. I might light it up just for the shits and giggles of it. Hey, EKB, did you see Brian from Provada taking shots at Insomniac Reviews? Yeah, man. Yeah. I did see that. All right. So, as far as this Brian thing, like, how much do y'all want to get into that? Do y'all really want to like talk about that, or do you want me to just kind of be surface and just kind of play it cool right now? So I'm gonna see what y'all got to say about that. So Twink said, "What up?" It's Guy Fieri and A Hole. I'm not a fan of him, man. It's like I don't know him personally, but the experience that I have, from people who have worked with him, it hasn't been good, and so I'm just not the biggest fan of Guy Fieri. Mike don't need that money right now. Mike don't need that money. Mike wants that money. That's a whole different ball game. Best Nintendo game with Punch Out. Punch Out was phenomenal. I can never beat Mike though. Mike whooped my ass in that game. Some people love Guy Fieri, man. I'm just not a fan of it. As a culinarian, I'm not a fan of Guy Fieri. That's why like I talked about that on another live, man. I don't know if it was on Instagram or if it was on here. That's my he is super corny too. I agree with that. What's wrong with Guy Fieri cigars? Just ordered 3. Hey man, enjoy those cigars if you like them. Don't go based on my opinion with that. That's my personal vendetta against Guy Fieri. That's why I don't want to do that. So, but y'all asked about Brian. I would say this, man, and y'all know, that if Brian ever came on to the show, or if I send a message to Brian, I'll tell Brian exactly how I feel. And it's the same thing when we had Brian on the show with the infamous podcast back when we were still just a new wave. I feel like he's a bullshit artist, and I told him he's a bullshit artist. But when it comes to Insomniac, I know that's Sandra's man too. Both of them they're two different personalities. You got the car salesman, and then you got the prickly old man trapped in the body of a young man. And it's just like that's Insomniac's personality. He's a little bit prickly, but right now everything that I feel like that Brian is doing with Pravada, he's trying everything he can to keep the ball rolling and to keep and keep the things moving with Pravada. And Pravada, in order for Pravada to really work the way that it should, it has to have drama. So I think he kind of feel like Insomniac is an easy target, and he can get somebody that would be willing to kind of chatter and go back and forth with them. So it's kind of like what's happening right now between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And I really feel like, in order for them to kind of get everything moving the way they need it to move, they need the drama right now. They need the tension. So Brian right now is just trying to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. He's trying to figure out what kind of new trendy item that he can use to put on a band. He's trying to figure out, okay, he's listening to people saying that they're really into budgeted cigars right now. So he was like, hey, I got all these cigars that are in these coolers that are not moving right now. So we can do farm roll cigars and we can sell them for $5. And then I'll give you another one if you buy this and those. Like everything that he's doing right now is like a liquidation car salesman type thing. So it's just a lot of unnecessary drama. And honestly, he has a lot of people like lapping all this stuff up that he's throwing out there right now. That's why he's like putting out video after video after video after video, trying to see what sticks. And nothing is really sticking, other than the people who are diehard We Are Pravada cult Pravada followers. They will soak up everything. If you look at the comments from that, it was like, hey man, whatever you put out, we're gonna do. Yeah, like this sounds like a great idea. So, but aside from just everybody else, nobody is really like rocking with Pravada like that. Nobody's really reviewing the cigars. Nobody's really putting Pravada bags out there, with the monthlies and all that kind of stuff. The hype that he had 3 years ago is gone. So he's trying to get that back. And I don't knock the hustle. I understand the ambition and the drive. I really think the dude is a hustler. Like, and I'm not saying that in the scam sense. But I'm not saying that in the scam sense this time. I'm saying this more or less now, like the drive to keep your company going, to be a creative. He really is a creative person. He has a creative talent. But he also has to do all of these, flash, bang, bells, and whistle things to try to get people's attention. And if he had just really settled in to working with the best people, putting out the best cigars that he could put out, and actually giving you something that has a flavor profile that's consistent, he would be able to grow and build up again. But the way the thing that got me, like, that really kind of bothered me is like that whole fraud thing, that somebody put out a flyer that said fraud, and now he's talking about like, oh, I'm gonna make a fraud cigar. Do you guys want a fraud cigar? Dude, you already putting out fraud cigars, and nobody has sent that out. Like, none of that whole thing, that rollout that you're doing right now is believable. Somebody from his team put that out, if he didn't do it himself. It's the fake exclusivity. It's the fake drama. It's the fake cigars. It's the fake imagery. And it's just like, dude, it's not really working. So Brian, guy that we're talking about is Brian, that owns Pravada Club Cigars. That's who we're talking about. Insomniac is Rob, who works, not Rob Cunningham, the homie that's in here right now, but Rob that works with Sanj and Should I Smoke This? And that's his brand. So he's trying to spark a little bit of tension between them right now. And because Rob has had his own podcast that he's been doing, and his own YouTube stream. He's getting his YouTube channel back up and rolling. And so Rob has been kind of doing some get off my lawn type stuff, talking about like, yo, if you haven't been smoking for this long or whatever the case may be, then you shouldn't be reviewing cigars. So he got his opinion, and Brian took a little bit of umbrage with some of the things that he was saying. He found a spot of contention that he can actually have a little bit of back and forth with. For me, their personalities are so contrary, and they're so unique in their personalities, that I kind of want to see this play out. The same way that I want to see Kendrick Lamar and Drake go at it right now. I'm looking forward to this whole thing with Brian and Rob. I'm kind of interested to see how this is going to work out. So let me kind of catch up with what you guys are saying. Rosebeef said, never had Guy Fieri's cigars, so I'm giving them a try. As you should. Give it a try. I have my own reasons why I don't rock with Guy Fieri. By the way, just finished the Oliva and moving to the My Father Le Bijou. That's a classic. You know, I call that an armchair cigar. Third smoke of the night. So wish me luck, man. Good luck. Put some chocolate in your system, man. Don't kill yourself tonight. It became tolerable in the end. That was because of the whiskey. That sounds like a good pairing, you know, with that West Tampa, homie. So I can see how that worked. Steven said never had a good cigar from Pravada. When it's just like his regular, like his label stuff, when he's doing like sushi and doing like all this kind of crazy stuff, I've never had a good one of those cigars either. Back when I was trying to see what the hype was with Pravada, y'all know I'm not a big fan of Blackbird cigars, but Blackbird put out a cigar that was called the Vince. That thing was outstanding. And I had a limited cigar association, Buena Vista. I think that's what the brand is called, Curie or something like that. It was a Buena Vista, and it was called the Trail Mix. I enjoyed that cigar. But that's really about all I can tell you that I really enjoyed coming from that line. I'm sorry I sound really stuffed up, y'all. My sinuses are killing me right now. Pravada cigars are awful, and in my opinion, never had a good one. See, that's kind of, that's kind of, yeah, man. You know, and that's the thing. I really think like if he really took the time, like I know he had a relationship with Eric Espinosa. I know he had a relationship with a few more people. Like the dude from Blackbird or whatever. I mean, y'all know I'm not a big fan of Caldwell either, but he had a relationship with Caldwell when Robert was still doing his thing. But it's one of those things. Like I feel like if he just stopped burning bridges, and he would really work with people and put out the best, and just stop trying to get those second cigars out there to make a quick buck, I feel like he could have built something. He really has the potential. If he wanted to, he has the personality that he could. He has the style. He has enough charisma that he could really, make things work. But he's so busy trying to, start beef and rub people the wrong way and be a renegade that he doesn't know how to network. So in that process, he's just kind of losing sight of the business, man. I don't want to see him flounder or fail. I would rather see him succeed, and I really want him to succeed and do well. But just the way that things are going right now, man, it's kind of like a train wreck. Yeah, the fake small business image too. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, because he did the thing the other day where he was talking about the small business thing, and he was talking about like how everybody's selling off the corporations. Like Caldwell is sold off recently, Room 101 sold off recently, and you got a lot of people that's been selling to Altadis and the General Cigars and STG and the whole nine. So he did this thing where he walked outside of his house and he was saying like, oh, I hate the way that small people should focus on the small businesses, and these small boutique brands should stop selling off their brands and all this kind of stuff like that. And then he literally just walked right back in the house. But the whole process is that it really came off more like he wanted people to see his house and to see his neighborhood. And it really was kind of counterproductive to the message that he was sending. And it was just like, I don't know, man. To me, my bullshit meter goes off whenever he's doing these videos. My bullshit meter is going off. But hey, man, that like I can't tell this man how to run his company. I don't have a company right now. I don't have a provider. So he got to do what he got to do, man. And I hope he succeeds. Oh, he's a middleman. Oh, that's even worse. But yeah, so black and miles count. Yeah, I mean, enjoy those black and miles, bro. Back in my day when I was on the block, my homies did the black and miles. I could never get into that, man. Yeah, I know when you empty it out and you gotta hype it up and you take out the binder and you pack it. I remember that whole thing. That was just never my lane, yo. Yeah, we used to call that the hype up. Guillermo was up in here. He said, "I wish I could smoke too. Still fighting the cold." I feel it, man. I don't have a cold, but I'm dealing with my sinuses right now. That's why I sound really weird. So I apologize. I can't even really hear right now. Everything is plugged up. Sorry, the ash drops off pretty quickly on this cigar. Uh, he said I have a Japanese toilet though. That counts. Yo, I love my Japanese toilet though. So I feel like a rich man with my Japanese toilet for sure. Said Trail Mix was a great cigar. Agree. Pravada started out strong. Yeah, man, but see, and they did start out strong. And then I'm not gonna say that like in a negative way. That's kind of what I was saying. Like they started out so strong, and they got so many people on the bandwagon that he could freaking. Yeah, I knew other people said that too. Word up, I heard that one too. So a lot of people really were on board with Pravada, and there was a lot of people that was really backing and behind them. But then, like a lot of people saw through a lot of the bullshit and a lot of the stuff that was happening with the lawsuits and all that kind of stuff, and stealing people's IPs and stealing people's imageries. And like, all right, so look at it like this: the one thing about the trail mix, let's use that as an example with for the Buena Vista trail mix. That thing was hyped up to have citrus notes. It was hyped up to have a lot of nuts and some berry notes in there, and to give you the wood campfire type of flavor profile. That sounds like trail mix to me, right? When I smoked the cigar, I got all of those notes. I'll let you know how it's treat me in just a sec. I got all those notes, and so when you're selling something to me as trail mix, I'm looking to get that flavor profile. So if you're gonna do something like a root beer soda, I'm expecting that to taste like root beer soda, right? So then, if you're gonna give me something that says sushi, okay, I don't know how you're gonna make a cigar taste like sushi. What are you going for? Are you gonna give me something that it's gonna remind me of like soy sauce? Are you gonna give me like some creamy rice notes or something like? What are you going for with this? So you're telling me tamago yaki. So are you gonna give me something that's like syrupy sweet? That would seem like it would go well with that. But see, he was just naming all the stuff. Even when when he was talking about the cigars, he didn't know how to pronounce anything that street tacos. Yeah, Rojas. I love Noel Rojas. He said fishy. That's funny. But when Brian was talking about sushi, he doesn't even really eat sushi. He doesn't even know anything about sushi. The only thing it was trendy, and he knew people were gonna catch on to that. So when people caught wind, it's just like, okay, you're just doing stuff that's trendy right now. You care more about Big Bird and Elmo and Cookie Monster and Steamboat Willie and sushi because these are trendy things. You don't really care about what the cigar is like. So when you got true connoisseurs of cigars and you got true aficionados, you're gonna lose that crowd. So then you're gonna be stuck with only these people who are following you because you are trendy. They like the way your hat looks. They like that you wear, Louis Vuitton. They like the fact that you wear Gucci and that you rocking Supreme. And they don't really care about the cigars. This is not good. Like the fact that with my channel, everybody that's in here is either you guys are new to cigars, you are cigar connoisseurs, and you people who like to, the cigar community. I know that this is what my viewership is like. I know that this is what you guys like to talk about. I know this is what you guys like to understand. You guys want to know how I feel about this Davidoff cigar. You guys want to know what the cigar is that I'm smoking next. You guys are going to tell me about the cigars that you're smoking because you care about the flavor profiles. You care about the smoking experience. You don't care that I'm rocking a North Face shirt right now. You don't care that my hat says Patron. You guys don't care about all of that. You come because you either like digging the conversation that I have or you like the cigar experience. And I would rather have that group. I would rather have 4,000 people or 20 people in my chat right now that care about cigars. But when it comes to Bravada right now, it's all about who's drinking the Kool-Aid. And that's when it kind of gets disappointing. That's when it's just like, okay, what are you really bringing to the cigar industry right now? But being an artist myself, being a creative myself, I know what drives Brian is getting that attention and creating art and making things visual, coming up with the ideas and trying to see what ideas work. That's what makes his boat float. That's what makes him active right now. Appreciate it, man. You know, with the 4K, I got love for it because everybody that I feel like that watches my channel, you guys, like even with this live right now, more people are gonna watch this live later. When this is all said and done, for just one dude just sitting here having a conversation with his viewers and just basically having a virtual hearth every so often, that's gonna get 200, 300 views. Some of them even go up to 1,000 views for a live. That's not like, it's not the strongest feat, but it's a solid feat, and it's happy. Like it makes me happy because that is what I'm looking for. That's the community that I'm looking for. But my perspective and Brian's perspective are going to be completely different. I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong, but I'm just saying like if he really wanted to blow and continue to blow up and not feel like he's like stressing himself out and floundering, there's a way that he could do that. It is, Guillermo. It is, and it is priceless, man. And like I can't put a number on the experience that I get from you guys. That I can sit back and enjoy the cigar, and smoke the cigar, and assess it, and talk to you guys about what you're smoking. Just talk about whatever current events or whatever topics that I'm talking about a cigar community. Like I need this as much as I need the cigars. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good thing. Like it's my way to like be connecting with people, making friends, making connections, and to get stuff off of my chest. You smoke your best cigars to have these moments, and you can't put a price on that. You can't put a number on that. Roast Beef said, I've been needing the virtual hearth, having somewhat of a hard time finding my tribe out here. Well, welcome, brother. You have found your tribe. We are a tribe called Quest. This is electric and virtual relaxation. So just come in, check the rhyme. This is what we do, man. This is why this is love. Felipe is up in the spot, man. What up, man? I'm glad you joined in, bro. What up, homie? Yo, my bad, late. These kids keep waking up. No, trust me, bro. I understand. As a father of three, I get it. I totally get it. So, if we smoking the Year of the Dragon right now that I got from Peter, man. So that's what we're talking about. So just a moment ago, somebody asked me what I thought about the cigar. So I'm not blown away by the cigar, but it is a solid smoke. Now that we've gotten into the wrapper, when the first portion, when it was just the binder and filler, it was a very rough, oaky, woody, and peppery cigar. Now that that it's kind of smoothing out a little bit, it's a lot smoother. I'm getting some of the sweetness from the Ecuadorian. It's a little bit of spice on the retro hell, a little bit, and it's smooth. It's kind of nutty, and the wood has kind of balanced out. There's a little bit of raw cocoa that's in there, but it's not super prominent. I wouldn't say it's the sweetest profile. It doesn't leave like a long finish, but it does give you an interesting, smooth kind of, I can't put my finger on the smooth, nutty aftertaste that it gives you. But I've been experiencing that a lot lately. Like now, like some of these cigars are kind of giving you a longer finish, and I find that kind of interesting. So it's solid, man. I'm enjoying it. Oh, okay. We want to talk about the Warriors. We got a win today, bro. We got a really good win today. The Lakers lost today, and the Warriors got a good win today. I mean, I know it's just the Charlotte Hornets, and I should feel some type of way about that being from North Carolina, but we need every win we can get right now, man. You can see Steph is stressed out, and I honestly believe right now that Draymond Green is deliberately trying to sabotage the Warriors. This might be some conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat type shit. But when he played the game the other day and he grabbed my man around the neck, he was trying to get kicked out of that game. Played the next game and he got thrown out of the game within 4 minutes. And it's just like, dude, what are you doing? And to have the Warriors be able to win that game and to win a back-to-back game after that, I think if we can stay right here, we can keep the Rockets at bay, and we can keep the Lakers on this downward trend right now, we gotta punch his chance. He don't have CTE, man. Draymond right now is very conscious and deliberate about everything that he's doing. I don't think he's gonna be with the team next year. I think he's trying to get out, and I think he's trying to get to the Lakers. But Draymond is consciously trying to fuck this team up and trying to get out of there. He really is, dude. Yeah, see, you feel me? You feel me, Guillermo? I think that's what he's trying to do too. I think he's trying to get to LA. Let me see. Second, third of both cigars. Yo, it's so crazy that you're smoking these two cigars back to back right now, man. So, that, so right now, my man Tech is smoking the M81 and the S84 simultaneously back to back. That is a sophisticated palate right now. So let me kind of go into what he was saying. He said both fairly strong, but still not the hugest fan of the blackened cigar. Maduro and Shade are both more similar than I thought. That's interesting. That's interesting. And it's a lot of people right now that are doing like these more spicier shades. I know Saka was really heavy in doing the more robust and spicier shades. And the Orioles tail has a little bit of a punch to it too. So I was kind of curious to see if that S84 was going to be like that as well. So thank you for keeping us abreast, man, and keeping us posted on where you are right now. Appreciate you on that, Tech. That's the stuff that I love, man. That's the stuff that gets me hyped. Yeah, I think Green is done after the season too, man. Roastbeef said Lakers gang over here. I didn't want LeBron, and I don't want Draymond. You might be stuck with both of them, homie. And yo, you see your boy LeBron walk off the court today before the game was over? Like, he really frustrates me as a player, man. He's like a petulant child. And that's the problem with him on the team right now, man. He gets so much into the point where when things aren't going his way, he throws temper tantrums. You 6'8", 260. It ain't no need for a man that size to be throwing temper tantrums, yo. I can't stand it. Black said no better team because he tripping. Yo, I really appreciate y'all, man. I love having these conversations with y'all, man. This, like, y'all don't know how much fun I have just sitting up here smoking my best and chopping it up. So Mike said that S84 definitely has a bite for a shade. Okay. And I kind of expected that, going with the whole alcohol, theme, going with the whole edgy kind of rock star theme. I kind of expected it to have a little bit more of a robustness to it in that shade. I haven't had it yet. It hasn't come my way. And honestly, I will try it. I gave the M81 a try. It just wasn't for me. It did get better towards the last third from what I can remember from that thing. But it's just like by the time I got there, man, my palate was beat up so much that I didn't really care. I do have a curiosity for that S84, though, to see what that's working with. Full body Connecticut's indeed. Okay, so let's. Ricardo said I had a Rocky Patel The Edge 10th anniversary recently, and it was like smoking hazelnut chocolate. That's kind of good coming from Rocky Patel, man, because you don't always know what you're gonna get. And I wonder what you would think about this Year the Dragon if you ever got your hands on this one too, Ricardo, because the chocolate is faint on it, and it has smoothed out a lot. I like the creamier body that it's giving now that the Ecuadorian is kind of getting there, and it leaves a nutty, kind of satiny finish, but it still does have a little bit of a bite to it from all the stuff that they got in the filler and the binder on this. So that's kind of interesting. He said the Warriors should go after Giannis. Giannis ain't leaving, man. Giannis is my second favorite player. You have no idea like what level of cloud nine I would be on if they got Steph and Giannis. If they could get rid of Draymond and move Clay and just have, Steph, Pajemski, and Giannis and Kuminga, and with Trace Jackson Davis, I really think the Warriors could be a deadly team all over again. My thing is Wiggins. When Wiggins plays great, that they will be an unstoppable team. But Wiggins is so up and down that you never know what's going to happen with that, man. So that would be interesting. But that would be an unstoppable force between Steph. What the Milwaukee Bucks is trying to do um with Giannis and Damian Lillard, it would actually work with Steph and Giannis. Because Giannis would never have to step out to the arc at all. And that pick and roll would be deadly. But I don't know, man, because they would need another solid point guard too. But I think Podziemski could grow into that and to do what Draymond does and just do that with Gary Payton and Podziemski. I think that could be a great team. So yeah, I agree with you on that. Sal said I think the S84 has broadleaf binder and filler. So that would kind of explain, some of the notes. You would think it would be a little bit, on the smoother side though, with the broadleaf in there. I haven't smoked it yet. They're resting in my humidor. Sal, when you smoke that one, man, whether you send it to me on a DM, whether it's on one of these lives, let me know what you think about that. I would really be curious. Yeah, that's most definitely a pipe dream. The Army of Angel, Connecticut is fire. Steven, who was that one from? Army of Angel. I feel like I should know that one off the top of my head, but I don't. But that sounds like something I need to get my hands on and try. You have a palate that I trust. So if you're saying that it's fire, I'm definitely kind of curious. I know a lot of people right now are kind of acting funny with Connecticut's, but I'm okay. Like I like trying Connecticut's, but for me, like either with Connecticut's, they either go for like extremely flavorful, like you have your Antonio CTs, you have your Sobra Mesas or something like that, and then you have these really bland and tasteless Connecticut's. So it's really ever an in between for me with a Connecticut. So now that the PCA is over, are there any new releases that interest you? Nothing, honestly, nothing has jumped out at me right now, man. Yeah, I'm curious about the new release that John Huber has released. I can't think of the name of it. It has like a clover on it, and he did it in two shades. He did like a Habano, and it was another wrapper that he did. I think it's a Maduro. I think it's a Habano and a Maduro. I'm doing this off the top of the head, so if I'm a little bit off, correct me. But I'm kind of curious to see what that cigar is going to be like, and that's one that I'm interested in. I know Saka just recently is releasing the Sin Compromiso in a Robusto, so I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to smoke. So it's a Cornetta, my man Enzo. Thank you for that. Appreciate you on that. The Cornetta. I can never think of the name of that thing, bro. I'm struggling with it, but I'm curious to see how each of the flavors are gonna shake out. And I think EP Carrillo has to do with one of them, and then I think it was Tabsa is doing the other cigar. Once again, I'm doing this off the top. EKP, you see the half wheel article about California raising taxes on tobacco, gold, and rice for reparations? No, I did not see that. If you get a chance, man, send me that article. I want to read that. Are you talking about the same reparations that I'm thinking of? Are you serious? This is gonna cause a firestorm. It not just politically, but just conversation wise. This should be interesting. But on tobacco, I gotta read that. I haven't read that article, and I'm on the fence with that one because I feel like actual reparations within the United States is necessary, but the way that it's like what you raising taxes on, I don't know how that's going to work when you already got high taxes in those areas. I don't know. I got to read that article to see how that's going to work out. That is complicated right there. Said Master Your Ash was talking to Paustania. Anyone tried any of this? Brendan, okay. I don't want to let too much out of the bag with that, but I don't know how much attention that you paid to that interview with Paustania, whatever, however you pronounce that joint. But that interview kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And Mike from Pastania has sent me some free cigars. He sent me the new Justice that they just released. So he's gonna be on the infamous podcast soon, and we're gonna be smoking that cigar. I haven't smoked the cigar yet, so I got some interesting feelings that I'm trying to talk in circles right now because I don't want to blow my spot up right now. But I got some feelings about that whole situation. Only thing that I can say right now is that cigar, that new Connecticut that he has, the Justice, it better be banging. It better be like one of the best Connecticut's that I've had in a while. Cause yeah, yeah. Are you a fan of UNC or college basketball at all? You keeping up with the tournament? UNC is the team that I followed as a kid. Being from North Carolina, being from Eastern North Carolina, my daughter is a Wolfpack, and East Carolina was the school that was closest to me. But where we grew up, you were either a Duke fan or you were or you were a UNC fan. My first cousin is actually married to Jason Capel, and so I got connections through that lane. You know, he was UNC, his brother was Duke, so I've always cheered for UNC. I've always been connected with UNC. Right now, I'm happy that the Wolfpack is actually doing what they're supposed to, and UNC just like I've never been a fan of Hubert Davis. When he played for UNC, I wasn't a fan of Hubert Davis, and now that Roy is gone, it doesn't look good for UNC right now. But that's usually the team when it came to rivalry week and between Duke and UNC. I always cheer for UNC. I hate Duke, so that's really the most connection that I have with college basketball. And Sal saying it's true. I read it today in the news. I can't wait to read up on that whole reparations thing, man. That's gonna be interesting. I gotta read that whole article. So if y'all get a chance to send that to me, send it to me on Instagram, man. The Vintage Cigar. I got to read that article. I haven't read any of that. I've been so busy. I haven't really like sat down to dig into a lot of the cigar stuff, other than having conversations with y'all and conversations with the new wave. So Cab was saying that Connecticut from Pastania, the Justice, he said it was a great cigar. I hope it's good. I was debating on whether I was going to smoke that cigar before we actually did the live with Mike. I think I'm going to wait to smoke it on the live. I'm probably not going to say a lot during that whole interview with him. I'm probably going to just sit in the background and really just take the time to absorb that cigar and see how it's really smoking, to see what's cracking, because he got to blow me away with that cigar right now. So Aliva, Connecticut is top tier. Aliva, Connecticut is good. Aganorsa used to have a really good Connecticut. I haven't smoked it recently. That was really good. I'm not mad at Connecticut's at all, man. And like, and like, and y'all know, like, if y'all go back, I did a top 10 with the top 10 Connecticut's. The Martinique is really good. The Potoro Terry Blanche is a very, very, very good Connecticut. I don't know if you can consider the Florida Sun Grown 20-acre farm. I don't know if you can consider that a Connecticut, but that is fantastic as well. What's up, Win? What's up? What up, homie? Thanks for joining in. So I gotta relight this. I was doing a little too much talking. It went out on me. I will say that this year the Dragon is actually burning well. I think the wrapper on this has been a lot better than some of the other really expensive cigars. Like, I'm not getting an experience out of this where I really feel like, you know, that I still feel like this whole Zodiac thing should die. I love that Sanj is taking the whole thing with doing the Zodiac killer, because this is not worth all of the hype and all the gold banding and the dragon labels and, you know, ox and like I think it's all. I hate this trendy stuff. You know, like if you want a trend, start a trend. If there's something within a trend that you're interested in, if you really like, okay, rock with it. But to do something just because you feel like you're just making a quick buck, or that people are just gonna buy it just because you know that's the trendy thing right now, that really makes me sick, man. And that's why I get so frustrated with Pravada. It's the same reason why I'm so frustrated with all the Zodiac stuff. I like that it's developing a little bit more, that I'm getting into the heart. I'm kind of getting stone fruit right now. Hey man, Black, thank you for joining in, man. Yeah, it's a lot of gimmicks, bro. And I'm just not a gimmicky type person. I've never been that type of thing. From my music to movies to food to shoes, all of that. Like I've never been the trendy type person. I've been like whatever fits for you, whatever you like, that's what you should connect to. And it should be kind of organic. But not everybody is gonna be a purist, and not everybody's gonna operate in a purist, mind frame like that. That's just not how things work. And I accept that. And I know that's kind of what it is sometimes. I do like this cigar though, especially for a Davidoff. It's a lot more fragrant. It's a lot more robust than you get for a lot of the Davidoff cigars, especially when it's like a white label. Oftentimes, I feel like they could be kind of washed out. The oak in this thing stands out. It's probably the most prominent thing though. The oak is it's a really woody, oaky cigar, and some people like that. It has a smooth, satiny texture, and that part works out. But there's a little bit of that pepper and dry wood on the nose that kind of like it. So it's giving kind of like East West type of thing. Liga Privada or Privada Cigar Club guy. Not Liga Privada. Liga Privada is Drew Estates. Liga Privada is Drew Estates, and I like Liga Privada. And the number 9 is good. The H99 is good. The T52 is good. A lot of the Ratzillas and all that kind of stuff. The Feral Pig is probably my favorite out of all of them. So not Liga Privada, but Privada Cigar. So Brian, Privada Club, that whole thing with the trendy, colorful bands and all of that kind of shit. That's what I was talking about there. He said, Sal said, although I know you won't try it, the Espinosa Knuckle Sandwich Connecticut is very, very good. Look, it's Eric Espinosa. I know Guy Fieri is not blending that cigar. That's all Eric Espinosa. And I like Espinosa. I like the Crema. I like the Laranja. I like the Azule. I like the Murcielago. I like Eric Espinosa. So I don't doubt that. I'm just not supporting this dude. So that's just for me. And I value your opinion on that, Sal. So don't get me wrong. He said you're having a better experience than I had with that cigar. Maybe it just needed more time. It's not no don't it's not a lot to it. I'm just giving it the standard that it has a little bit more to it than a lot of the other Davidoffs. The Davidoff that I had yesterday, the number 2, was way better than this. It's not on the level with a Winston Churchill. It's not a Yamasa. It's not a Nicaragua box press. I'm not the hugest fan of the Millennium. I know people love that cigar, but I wouldn't even put it with that. I'm just saying for a lot of these Zodiac cigars that I've been having, a lot of the Davidoffs that I had, it's giving a little bit more than that. But there are no endorphins going off for this cigar. I'm just trying to give an honest opinion on what I think about the cigar right now. It's smoking better. Like the wrapper is not breaking. It has a decent burn line. It has a solid draw to it. But to give you the flavor profiles that I'm giving you right now, I actually got to search for those. But the main thing on it is oak, and it's a little bit of pepper. That chocolate is so faint that it's like and it's improving now that it's getting towards the heart of it a little bit. But it's not. Don't think it's anything that's like it should be worth anything like the price that they put on these Zodiac cigars. It's not that, and that's the part that bothers me about it the most. Like they're changing the consumer value of cigars with these trends, but they're not putting out tobacco that is worth all of the bells and whistles and all the glamour that they're putting on these fancy boxes and these fancy wrappers and bands and all. It's not that. Would I pay full price for this cigar? Never. Ever, ever, ever. Ever, 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 ever. And that's the main thing. So would I completely say that it's like a dog rocket or like a complete garbage cigar? It's not that. It's not Gomi. It's not that. But like say for instance, if I was doing a review on this cigar right now, I would kind of be approaching the same way I'm approaching it for you guys right now. But by the time I got to the end, I would just be like, yo, don't pay for this cigar. Don't do it. Cut this Zodiac bullshit out. This cigar you could have put out for maybe, even at this size, maybe $12. And it would still just barely be worth that $12. Barely. Rosebeef said, I seen this ask, and when y'all had Sanj on, do you purge your cigars? One guy at a lounge out here in Sacramento, Roseville, swears by it. Yes and no. I do it from time to time. Like, say for instance, if I let a cigar go out and it had been out for some time, I purge it then. Or if I had a cigar that was giving me like a weird astringent profile, sometimes I try to, purge it at that time. But I don't go out of my way to purge, and I only think about it if I'm getting a particular reaction from the cigar. Does that make sense? It's not one of those things, and that's kind of what I was talking about when we were talking about it with Sanj. It's like it's not one of those things that I go above and beyond. Like, oh, it's time to purge my cigar. I gotta, get my lighter out. Because honestly, still, like, I didn't really do anything. I just dropped my ash. That's really it. So I think that's a little too much. All this stuff, like, of course, to everything that you do, when you're dealing with something that's organic, science is going to be necessary. So, like the same thing with Sanj. When Sanj was talking about, like, humidity doesn't matter with cigars. Come on, Sanj. Come on, Sanj. Humidity does matter. When you're talking about dry leaves and you need something to have just the right amount to be combustible, when you need enough moisture to maintain the cigar, but if you have too much moisture, you're not going to keep it lit. If it's too dry, you're not going to have any oils, you're not going to have any flavor. That's science. That is what it is. But do I feel like you got to, spend all the time to make sure your humidor is at 70, temperature and at 70 RH? Or it needs to be perfectly at 65 at all times? Come on, man. It's really not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Do I want my cigars to dry out? No. Do I dry box sometimes with certain cigars to make sure they're closer to 65 to 62? Yeah, sometimes I do that because I want my cigar to actually smoke well. I want to be able to get a nice draw. But if I got a knot in this cigar and I can't get the proper draw out of it, I'm not taking the time to go get a poker and not trying to purge and I'm not trying to fight with stems. I'm going to put the cigar out and go get a cigar that I know that's going to smoke well. You feel me? And, if I'm paying $40, $50, $60 for a cigar, it should smoke like this. I should never have to fight with it. And I know that comes up a lot. And I know this is a constant debate, and I know it's a constant, topic for lives and for cigar reviewers and for anybody that's in cigars. And, that's what a lot of people want to know, especially when you're new to cigars and you're trying to get a feel for how to maintain your cigars and all that. It's science, but it's not rocket science. It's not nuclear physics. it's not anything where you got to feel like you got to put on a white lab coat in order to smoke your cigar. You really shouldn't have to really like fight with your cigar. So when it comes to that, I understand what Sandra's saying. Like if he has his humidor set at a reasonable temp, or if his basement is set at, already at a reasonable temperature and it's climate controlled for the most part, you will be fine. When you open your cigar, like my humidor right now, if I open my humidor, especially a few weeks back, if I left it open for 2 minutes, it's dropping 5 or 6 degrees. But I don't feel like most of the time if I go out and grab a cigar right now and I light it up, it's gonna smoke fine. But there are cigars that are in there that I know that are gonna be wetter than others. And I did have an issue with I kept some of the cigars that were too moist. I kept them with a Neptune's bag, and they got way too moist. So it took Michael, like 4 or 5 weeks to get my cigars to where he could smoke them and do a review on them, because that's how moist they were. So all of that matters. The same thing with Sanj. When Sanj was saying to us, like, he's like, yo, I just got these cigars in, and I want you guys to have them. I'm gonna send these cigars out to you. He was saying they're wet right now. I can't send them to you. Obviously, if the cigar is wet, then humidity matters, because that wetness on that cigar is humidification. And the only way that you're going to get it down to a point where it's going to be able to smoke right again, it has to drop in humidity. It has to get down to 69. It has to get down to like 65. It has to get to a reasonable overall humidity. So in that case, regardless of however you put it, it matters. Humidity matters. So all of that stuff matters to me. Like, but I just try not to be like so stressed out about where my cigar is, that like I'm so stressed out, like, oh, I can't smoke this one. I gotta dry box this. I don't wanna be at that point. I just wanna get my cigars at a reasonable spot. And I feel like I should be able to, like, if Peter sent me a bunch of cigars, I should be able to go in that bag, pick out a cigar, smoke it. The same way I did when Sanj sent me his cigars. It went from Sanj to Matt to me in Japan. And when I took out that Oreo's tail, it smoked like a dream. Because it nothing in that travel time, unless it's going to be sitting with no humidification at all, and it's going to be sitting for weeks on end to completely dry out, that I can't enjoy that cigar. And I know that was a long diatribe. I hope all that makes sense, man. So you said I can dig it. I hope that makes sense. And I also know all of you guys are going to operate differently than I'm going to operate. Where are you guys keeping your cigars? Like, as far as, do you guys have humidors? Do you have like a need one? Do you have tupper doors? Do you have just an old school box humidor? What are you guys using? What do you have? Like, how are you keeping your cigars? I want to hear from all of you that are in here. How are you maintaining and keeping your cigars? So right now, my humidor is at 64. If I wanted to age my cigars, it's perfect to age them. And it's at a point right now where it's really hard for me to get my cigar anywhere up to like 69, 70. 69 was normally my sweet point, but I was noticing some of my cigars that when I was keeping them at 69, some of them was still too wet. So right now I'm at about 64, 65. And I can go in there and grab, just like I grabbed this one, brought it out. You see how it's smoking. Perfectly fine. If they're in my tupper doors, I got them at 69 right now. I got one humidity pack in there right now at 69. It's still got enough liquid in it. It's not dropping. It's not drying out. So it's fine. So Mike said he has a need one, and he has Rubbermaid tubs with both of them. So I'm with you on that one. No dry box needed. It's very rare that I got a dry box cigars. Brendan said I got a Tupperware with 69 Boveda. I dry boxed for 3 to 7 days before. Nothing wrong with that. Makes perfect sense to me. I hear that too. Guillermo says mine is at 69, but it spikes to 72 due to the rain out here in the Bay Area in Cali. Now, see, you're probably going through it like I'm going through it, because this Japanese temperature, like where I am right now, like when I was in Kanto, Guillermo, when I was in that region, that humidor would spike up to 70 all the time, all the time. And I couldn't, like, it was so much, like, one time I was getting water, like, dripping in that thing. I don't know where the water was coming from. So I took a lot of those out and I just put them in my Tupperdoors. My Tupperdoors have been the best thing. They are a lot more stable than my actual humidor. So I feel you on that one. Sal says I have a few need one humidors and 5 wooden desktop humidors. Temp is at 69 and the RH is 64, 65 on a consistent basis. And with that range that all of you have right now. So Steven says I have a need one and a King Chi. Cab said I got a 68, and I'm always stressing because all the different cigars smoke differently. That's the main thing. Yeah. So some of those cigars you got. The thing is that you always gonna have to pay attention to your cigars. You're gonna have to pay attention to what brands you have. You're gonna have to pay attention to whether they're Maduro, whether they are Habano, whether they're Cameroon. All of the leaves are gonna operate differently. That's science. That just is what it is. You know what I mean? So if you can just find a way to keep them at a balance, RH, just do what you know is best to smoke your cigars. And some of it, for a lot of the new smokers, it's gonna be trial and error. You're gonna have those times that you got a cigar that just keeps going out on you. Most of the time, it's probably gonna be your Maduro, and you're gonna be like, "Yo, I can't keep this thing lit." If that's the case, if it's a Drew Estate, maybe it's a Privada. Dry box it. Give it a few days before you light it up. It's nothing wrong with doing that, but you shouldn't have to like stress about it. It's just kind of like, kind of understanding. As long as everything is at a consistent basis, you kind of know what you need to dry box, what you can just take out and smoke. He said most are perfect. Some are a little dry and some are a little wet. It's tobacco leaves, bro. That's what it's gonna be. So Guillermo said my acrylic jar does better than my humidor. Same here, man. Same here. I keep all my Arturo Fuentes at 67 and 69. You know your cigars. You know what works best for your Fuente. You know what's working best for your Dominican tobacco. That's not hard. That's not hard. So when you look at it in that sense, I understand what Sanj is saying. I understand where he's coming from. But I just think the way he delivers it is like, oh, it just doesn't matter at all. I think for people who just don't have experience with cigars, it's just going to frustrate them to no end. It's going to confuse them. So Work said, I just spent 2 months in Africa. Took about 40 cigars in my travel humidor at 69, but the climate is very humid. So my shit rose to 75, even 80 plus. But they smoke beautifully. Yeah, they're not gonna change overnight. It's not gonna, and that's the thing. So even with all that amount of travel, they're not gonna change overnight. You give them a few days in a dry climate, of course you're gonna get an effect out of it. So that's reasonable. If they're sitting at 70, 80, depending on the cigar, if you probably got like an Aganorsa Supreme leaf, and that 70, and you're in that 70, 80 climate, that thing might soak up all the moisture you got. So you might need to dry box that one. But you also got this. What does my cigar feel like right now? Okay, my wrapper feels like really dry. It's a little brittle. I need some more moisture on this one. Let me put this in more of a moist climate. Oh, this thing right now is super squishy, yo. This thing is so squishy. Man, I need to dry box this one before I light it up. That's your rocket science right there. Roast Beef said I got a 50-liter waterproof storage tote Tupperdoor that is kept at 62%, 300-gram Boveda. It stays around 65 RH, and I've had it in my garage for about a month. It stays at 63% right now. I would guarantee the majority of those cigars that are in that Tupperdoor, you can take it out, smoke it, not have a problem. Cab, nothing worse than enjoying a smoke and then start hearing that popping sound. When you know that joint is crispy. That's like I don't know how many of y'all used to twist up herb, man, but like when it start popping and you got mad seeds in that joint, you basically got popcorn in your joint. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. So, and it happens sometimes. And sometimes you can taste it. And I think that's what happened with some of those cigars. Like, say, for instance, with the Ferio Tagos. I think, I wonder, like, if aging and the humidity, affects like the Ferio Tego cigars because they can be extremely bland. I know some people like them, so maybe they can put them at a better RH than what I had it, and maybe it tastes better. Because some cigars, like once they get too dry, excuse me, or they get too moist, they lose all of their flavor. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, that's why I got like certain cigars and certain brands that y'all hear me talk about so much, because whatever they're doing as far as their blending process, they know they have a cigar that blends and smokes well enough that if you're keeping it within whatever your habitable zone is, you're still going to get the necessary oils, you're still going to get the necessary flavors, you're still going to get the necessary burn line out of that, and it's going to smoke the way that it should. And that's a major problem that a lot of people have with Cubans. A lot of the Cubans are going to be very particular. The quality control is not going to be the same. And the tobacco in there might not, hold up to some of the temperatures. It is what it is, man. It's just, it shouldn't be, this should be a hobby where you can just sit back and enjoy yourself. He said, that's what's going on right now. Everything is good right now. I laughed my ass off at the Seeds and the Blunt reference. Should be like fireworks. Yeah, man. I used to hate that, yo. Before I even understood the the importance of having the sticks and the seeds and in your blunts, man. That used to frustrate me to no end. So I had to learn the science of that, just how that works, man. But we used to clown like somebody would come through and they would bring an L or whatever, and we'd be sitting around with everybody puffing, we passing, and that joint pop. Everybody pointed at the dude that brought that cigar. You know what I mean? We were like, yo, you brought that nasty blunt in here. That's you, man. You got all those, you know what I mean? So that it used to be a fun thing, man. And I guess that, you can kind of have that same kind of vibe with your cigars. So now, instead of just pointing at your homie that just brought his pack over, you looking at whoever the owner is or whoever's humidor. You looking at them like, okay, that's you. That's your cigar. That's trash right there. So I don't know, man. I don't want to get like too much on the soapbox. I do tell you what though, I got another cigar. How y'all feeling right now? Everybody good? Y'all want to keep rolling? We've been going for like an hour and 30 minutes. When I did a quick read up on this cigar, man, it said it was only about 90 minutes, for the smoke on that. It's clocking good time. But I got another cigar that I want to try out that I want to smoke. So if y'all willing to hang with me for a minute, I might go for a little while on this one. Y'all up for that? Y'all up to go for two cigars? Keep rolling? That's what's up, Twink. Appreciate you, homie. Mike said keep rolling. He said I'm like halfway through this smoke. And what you got again, Mike? Remind me, man. Sorry, my memory is horrible. Okay. The title of this episode is Smoke Your Best Cigars. This is your Zodiac speaking. And I want to kill this Zodiac right here. Like, it's not enough to keep me entertained. This is a long cigar. Rob said keep rolling. This was what do they call it? Either a double Corona or a Toro Extra or whatever. It's not really keeping me entertained. I got a little bit of that stone fruit in that drawer right there, but it's really not enough to keep me satisfied. So Guillermo said I was pairing whiskey with the Le Bijou one time. It mellowed the cigar spice. I honestly, man, what kind of whiskey you got, Guillermo? It's one of those things, man. Like I've never, and you guys know this about me. I've never had liquor, ever, ever in my life. But I've been really like debating on trying bourbons, trying whiskeys, especially now that I'm here in Japan. I want to try some of the shochus and all the different type of sake and all that kind of stuff like that. So a little bit of a Japanese lesson right now. The word sake or osake, it just means alcohol. So like if you ever in Japan and you're requesting sake, they're gonna look at you crazy because they're like, okay, what type of sake you want though? Do you want a shochu? Do you want a chuhai? Do you want Kyoto whiskey? Do you want bourbon? You know what I mean? So that's something that I had to learn. But my curiosity like has me. I'm like I love seeing like when Massey Ash is comparing like the different flavor profiles and stuff like that. I'm just terrified of alcohol, man. I'm terrified of actually being drunk, and like I don't want that. But I do want that experience to be able to taste it and see how it pairs with my cigars. I do want to like my thirst for knowledge with flavor profiles has me wanting to try all of those things. He said I have none of the equipment or skills, so it should be fun. Word up. No doubt. He said I'm here to the end. Speaking of the Davidoff, have you had the Griffin? People have been asking me about the Griffin. I think I've had the Griffin once. I think. I think. I can't remember whether I know I had one in my humidor at one point in time. I can't remember whether I actually kept that or I actually gave it away in a bomb. I honestly I can't remember. So whatever it was, it didn't like make a strong enough of an impression on me. It was a Wild Turkey 101 bourbon. I know of Wild Turkey. Excuse me. I know that was really popular at one point in time. I don't know if that's like top shelf, mid shelf, bottom shelf. I don't know. I know a lot of people drink Wild Turkey though. When I smoked that Lady Jew, that cigar is a tough one for me. Like when I could see that working with the Lobby Jew or just my father in general, I would guess like some of the sweetness, from the bourbon, and whether it's going to be corn based or whatever, however that stuff works out. I think that will work well because those cigars are really leathery and they're really woody. I call them armchair cigars because they have that very old school classic, robust, thick, thick tobacco, very strong flavor profiles, a lot of spice on them. I got to be in the mood for my father. And I haven't been in that mood lately. If y'all have noticed that you haven't seen me with a my father in a while, I think the last one that I actually had was a Libijou. And the one before that I think was the Opalencia, I think. And that's it's been some time. I don't think it's been a year, but it's been some time. So roast beef asks, does Japan make different alcohol? I've seen Japanese whiskey, but they make vodka or gin or anything like that. Yes, they love alcohol just out here in general. So there's a lot of different distilleries and a lot of different types of alcohol. Most people know Hibiki, they know the whiskey and all that kind of stuff like that. But if you go to like the different aisles that are here in the grocery stores, you can go to the convenience stores and get your Suntory whiskeys and all that kind of stuff like that. I'm not the best person to ask about this because I don't drink at all, so I don't really look for it. But just my surface knowledge, just about anything that you can think of from a vodka, from a whiskey, a bourbon, all of those type of drinks, the shochus, chuhais, all that different like rice wines, all of that, they got it because the culture here, they love drinking, they love it. Like it's like it's a part of their everyday culture. So yeah, just about anything you can think of, you can find. So what's up said, don't drink a lot, just taste life, like taste like you said, you'll be okay. And yeah, I think the part of it that concerns me, man, is I had an uncle that I talked about on one of these Smoky Bests that passed away a couple years ago, and I love that dude, man. He was my guy, and we were a lot alike, just kind of personality wise. But he was Jekyll and Hyde when he drank. So I've been terrified to that I know that I have an addictive personality. That I was always scared that I was gonna like, okay, if I ever dabbled into it, it was gonna get to a point where I'm just kind of tasting, and then I was gonna get to the point where I got drunk and I was gonna mess up, or I was gonna get to the point where I got too into alcohol and it was gonna be a spiral effect. So just out of safety concerns, I've just never jumped over that, and I've never risked it. So I gotta honestly say I got a fear of it that I fear it so much that I don't do it, and that's why I've never like taken the chance even just to taste it, spit it out, nothing. I've never tried it, and I guess I swore it off because all the stuff that happened with my uncle when I was a kid growing up, and with my friends that drank a lot of alcohol, I literally swore off alcohol. I said I would never drink it, and I made that promise to myself. Then that's when I stayed at that point where I was just like, and just like Matthew said, and leave it alone then. And I kind of kept it there, just like, mm, mm. You feel me? It's risky, you know. Guillermo said, La Opulencia from my father is my favorite from my father. I just love Mexican San Andres Rapper Leaf. I love Mexican San Andres too. So I feel you on that. And it's good. It's just the way that my father blends in general is usually just a lot. It's so much. It's a drier smoke. And it's usually very leathery, very peppery, and they don't really like balance a lot of sweetness into it. You get a little bit more of that sometimes, like with a lot with the Opulencia, you can get a little more of the chocolate notes and stuff in there like that. So, and I'm doing that off the top of my head. So if that's not the exact profile on that one, forgive me. But I feel like with the, if if you're that type, if you're just kicking and you want that full body smoke and you have a nice alcohol to go with it, I feel like my father is probably the way to go. And I think that's why they still get so much love right now. They just don't get as much love as a lot of the other, some of a lot of the more recent New World guys, like when you got Saka and you got Nick Melillo and you got Noel Rojas, cats like that are blending things that are a lot smoother and give you a lot more, complexity with the flavor profiles. It's kind of hard to compete with that right now. Doug said I like root beer with cigars, generally speaking. I'm not mad at that at all because I think that complements extremely well. I think Dr. Pepper, root beer, and my trusty Coke Zero, I think they blend really well with cigars. And I think the sweetness that they provide gives it a good flavor in there. The acid in there kind of opens up your palate a little bit so you can taste a bit more. So I totally agree with that. Guillermo Sanchez said, "What up, Vintage?" Okay. I'm glad now I know I can connect the names now. Appreciate you. Glad you're in the house, man. Glad you're in the place to be. So Work said, only the judge. Only the judge is the only one that you really rock with from my father. I like the judge too, but it's literally the last time I had the judge. I was in Okinawa, and goddamn, that was 3 years ago. I just got a message on, how like your phone does the thing. Like if you guys got like a Android, like, hey, this is where you were 3 years ago. Or like Facebook has been bringing that up lately. So that's where I was around this time 3 years ago. I was in Okinawa. Just ordered a Fonseca MX. Is that a newer one? Because I know Fonseca was like the last time I had that one was when I started the channel. And I don't think I did it for a review. I think I was just talking about it because I was talking about my father's cigars a lot at that time. And I was reviewing them, my father. And that was like early in the vintage cigar days, back when I was still reviewing, back when I was still doing I Want to Smoke. Do you know what that MX Do you know what that is blended with? Do you know what the rapid binder filler is on that one? If you can think of it. Cab said whiskey, rum, and brandy goes so well with cigars. You definitely see that. And like so for me, my only thing I'm gonna finish that comment too. My only experience with those alcohols are how they smell. And so that's basically what I get. You know, I don't know how they taste. I just know how they smell. So I can, especially with a brandy, that brandy sticks in my mind, like the way that sweetness, like that stays in my mind. So I can definitely see how that works. It's almost like a cherry. Like Keith is up in the place to be, industry killer Cameroon. So you smoking good tonight? Like to hear that. Yeah, it's a new edition of their My Father Fonseca version. All right, bet. I'll look into that one. I think the label's you is, and I'm not trying to hate on that stick, or maybe it's my palate, but that cigar is not for me. I'll have a rematch with it soon, though. Nah, man, like, I get that. I got two Guillermos in here. Y'all gonna kill me today. Y'all gonna fuck me up. But, yeah, man, I totally get that. Man, like I said, even with me, I gotta be in the mood to have my father, except for the Florida Las Antillas. Florida Las and is the only one that I can just feel like I can pick up at any time, and I'm good with it. And even still, like with the 10th anniversary one, I felt like that was a great cigar, and it was a lot more balanced than a lot more of the other, my father's cigars. I thought that thing was outstanding. And I feel like the Fonseca, can kind of fit into that same way too. But I just feel like that it's the most balanced, and balance is key for me. But again, the price range is what prices me out of that 10th anniversary one. Peter's up in the place to be. What up, Peter? G is up in the place to be. What up, homie? I'm glad you're joining in, man. I know you're probably only gonna stay with me for like a few minutes, man. But I'm glad you're up in the place to be, man. Compared to the original rapper, which I believe was Corojo. So let me catch up with what you were saying earlier, Sanchez. So you're gonna be Sanchez instead of Guillermo. They changed it to a San Andres. Oh, that sounds like it's gonna be a banger. Okay, yeah, I might have to try that MX, man. I love my Latinos up here. Go showing love. Yeah, he said who's gonna be Gizmo and who's gonna be Mimo. That's love right there, man. Said I see Steve Saka appear on his. I see Steve Saka appear, or his name come up the most from cigar YouTubers I follow. Is it because he's embraced the YouTube culture more than the other brands and reps? That's a great question, Rob. I would say yes to a degree. But it's funny that you mentioned this because I was just having this conversation. I can't remember whether it was on the Instagram live or if it was the short live that I did just a few days ago. One thing about Saka is he does have a great presence as far as communicating with reviewers. He does have a great presence as far as expounding on his cigars, what he's releasing. He said, I got dibs on Memo. And he does develop a rapport with just the review community in general. And that is great. But that's really not all that it is. What really makes Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust stand out from everybody is, for me, is the consistency of the brand itself. Whether you're talking about Mi Querida, whether you're talking about the Sober Mesa line, whether you're talking about the Muestra de Saka line, or anything that he does in between, Sin Compromiso, whatever. He has a pretty even through line based on the flavor profiles with the cigars, for one. But he also has a consistency that all of those different cigars, they all have a great taste. They all smoke well. So we were talking the other day about like how like when Saka goes to the PCA You got people like Michael Herklotz. It's like, oh, they're doing all these different presentations. You got John Huber doing all these presentations. You got Boofy, showing off for the camera and doing all of his kind of, antics and all that kind of stuff. You even got Brian from Pravada, like going crazy, like everybody, Cardwell, like everybody showing up and trying to do all this special stuff, trying to present who they are. And Steve Saka could just sit in a chair, put his cigars out, barely has to do interviews, and people are rushing to him. And it's not just because of who he is, it's because they revere his product so much. And I feel like it's the same thing with Nick Melillo. I feel like Espinosa gets that kind of love too. I feel like the same thing with Fuente. They have developed their brands and their consistency so well that they're always going to be standouts. Drew Estates has enough of a portfolio that people can trust well enough that they're always going to be brought up a lot, because you can always, like Sal is saying right now, quality, consistency, flavor, balance, and construction. If you're checking all of those boxes, then you're gonna stand out, and you're gonna develop a reputation, and that reputation feed itself. I feel like you got certain people. Let's say Rocky Patel. Rocky Patel has kind of destroyed that somewhat, because Rocky Patel has thrown out so many cigars just to kind of see what sticks, and his consistency is not there. So because he's already developed enough of a cachet with his name, you know who Rocky Patel is, but you don't see people like jumping out the window to review Rocky Patel like that anymore. You're gonna have somebody like, when me and the New Wave cats are talking about like what's gonna review, what's gonna do well. Sanchez, I knew you was gonna come with that. But I'm gonna put this out, man. It's time to light up the next cigar. I'm not feeling this right now. I'm done. I'm done with that one. All right, we're gonna get into this McAuliffe Black while we rolling right now. So we're gonna do that. But saying that to say, man, to answer your question, Rob, that's why I feel like the reputation has grown so much for Saka right now, and I think Sebastian with Cavalier, if he stays consistent the way he is right now, I think you got brands like, I can see it, ADV, Aventura. I think if they stay consistent, they can work their way into that. I think Principal can work their way into that. Cass Dagley, I think Cass Dagley is going to kind of fit in that mid-range, kind of like Illusione and Warped. They're good, but they're not consistent enough yet. So it's just right now, the man that's holding the crown right now is Saka. Will he be able to stay there forever like Fuente? I don't know. But right now he's there. But that's the reason why. I don't know if y'all are gonna agree or disagree with me, but that's the way I see it right now. y'all are killing me with this Guillermo joint, yo. I'm rolling right now. Y'all are funny, man. Oh yeah, so it was on the IG live that I was talking about that. Okay, bet. Like, cause they're kind of bleeding together for me, so I'm sorry about that. I've been trying to to pick up my presence on Instagram a lot lately, because I kind of faded away from that a little bit. So I felt it was kind of necessary for me to kind of post a few more pictures, do a few more reels up there, just to kind of keep the vintage cigar alive a little bit. Have any of you guys had this McAuliffe Black? What is your opinion on it, if you've had it? Roger's up in the place to be. What up, man? I swear I got the best community that's on the internet right now, man. Y'all are the best, man. This is funny. Sanchez, the No Diddy conviction. I have a Soccer Squatch from promo now on my desk, man. Great conversation piece. I can't front, man. I wanted one of those. The only thing I got is that when Soccer sent me that package last year, the year before, I got my Soccer mug, man. That's a good conversation piece too. That Soccer Squatch is a lot better though. Where is Diddy at? Diddy right now is probably with he's probably with Russell Simmons. That's what I would imagine. He's probably in Bali right now with Russell Simmons. Wherever he is, he's somewhere being real quiet right now where he can't be extradited. That boy is some hot water. All right, so Roger said this black is spicy, but hella flavor. I love that Cali speak, man. Hella. All right, hella flavor is what I'm looking for because I didn't get enough flavor from that Year the Dragon, man, and I couldn't finish it. I had enough. So Work said it's your favorite this year. You talking about this Macallan Black is your favorite? Yeah, Keith, you definitely need to try Aventura, man. Um, you can kind of go down the line with that, from the Navigator to the Conqueror. They got quite a few. The Royal Return, the Queen's Return, all of them are bangers. Speaking of, we was talking about Connecticut's earlier. That Queen's Pearl, Connecticut, fantastic. Aventura got some heat, man. Dunbarton's Red Meat Lovers is so dark and oily. Fantastic stick. I gotta put that again, man. Like the first time I had it, it didn't blow me away. But that's mainly because, like I said, I had it with that Wagyu, and that killed all the oils and killed all the flavor profiles. And I was thinking it was gonna pair, perfectly with that. But Wagyu was so much stronger than everything else, man, that it killed my palate. So when I get a chance to get it again, I'll get it. And I want to try all the different Vitolas because I hear it varies from Vitola to Vitola. Where can I pick one up? So I don't know if that one's for me. So I'm not sure. Said, bro, I was sad when you were saying you were done. I'm glad you kept it up with the lives, man. Yeah, man, like I feel like, man, there's so many of you guys that are doing so great with reviews right now that I wasn't really needed. And I was putting so much money in other people's pockets and not in my own right now that I wanted to get back into enjoying the hobby again. I wanted to like love cigars again. This is good so far. Um, and I love this community aspect, man. So I really couldn't put it down to the point where I just couldn't sit back and chop it up with you guys anymore. Like I enjoy this right here so much. I enjoy doing, you know, lives with like Big Guilty. I love doing his podcast. I love chilling with Eno. I love the infamous, fellas, man. I love doing that. I'm excited about being on the Unbanded with Roger, with Felipe, with Peter. I'm excited to smoke that cigar and do that because that's such a creative, it's such a creative show that I feel like I'm happier here. I feel like I'm enjoying myself more. I still get to talk to you guys about cigars. I'm still smoking cigars enough that I can kind of give some feedback and some insight on what I feel about cigars without feeling like, hey, right now I have the McAuliffe Black and this has this kind of wrapper and that. Like I didn't want to continue to do that anymore. Go out and buy this cigar. You should go out and get it. And I'm putting all of that money into them. And you only get, a few people. Every now and then you get a John Huber that says, hey, man, I watched your reviews. You're doing a great job. Here, try some of these. And it's cool to get cigars. But when YouTube is blocking people's comment sections and YouTube is blocking, the money that's coming in and all of that kind of stuff, it's like the channel wasn't growing fast enough to just, to be able to do something. And I got other creative endeavors that I want to work on, man. So this is fun. I can do this at any point in time. If I got some downtime, I can just hop in here and talk with my people. Y'all love cigars the way I love cigars. Y'all love, current events the way I love current events. Y'all love music. Y'all love, this is what cigars are supposed to be for anyway. This is what this is about. So this works better. Pan is up in the place to be, man. I'm doing well, man. I hope you're doing well also. Do I do cheaper cigars like Sampler C? I give $20 in the newspaper. Oh, like CI. Sorry, like not too often, man. When it comes to like Cigar International, Cigar Bid, Cigar Page, and a lot of those kind of like online magazines and actual magazines, and getting budget sticks and all that. I'm not the biggest fan. And if you saw like my earlier, top 10 list when I was doing like some of the best sites to go to get cigars, I gave them a shout out and I gave them love. And I feel like it's a great thing if you're trying to fill up your humidor, and if you're trying to get like a Flor de las Centellas, if you're trying to get a foundation, if you're trying to get a lot 40, there's some really good budget cigars that are great. And if you go back on my channel, I did a few buyers guides where I did different price ranges and stuff like that. Like if I want to get a cheaper cigar, for me, the Umbagog is the best. And I will kind of stay in that lane. But I'm not against smoking the last call. You know what I mean? Like I'm not against it, but I would rather smoke my best cigars. I would rather smoke the cigars that are kind of still within that premium range. But y'all see how much love I give to Sanj Patel with the RS-88s and with the Oreos tails and stuff like that. When you can get if you can get a budget, a cigar that's going to be $6 or $7, $8, and it's going to smoke as good as some of those $20 and $15 cigars, then that's my lane. I'm cool with that. But I still want my tobacco to be quality tobacco. I still want to be able to get a nice flavor profile out of my cigar. I still want to have quality, construction on my cigar. So a lot of those, kind of budget cigars, they don't taste like anything. I hate factory smokes. I like those $2, $3 cigars. You got people that like that's what they will spend money on, and they will smoke those, and they are happy. But for me, they taste like absolute dirt, and I don't want to like spend my time with that. So I don't knock anybody for going to get a good deal. If you got $20 and you can get several cigars, if those are cigars are gonna meet the flavor profile that you're looking for, if they're gonna hold up and smoke the way that you like them to smoke, go for it. And I think that's all love. So Ed said I smoked the McAuliffe Black last night. I personally got a lot of coffee. That's kind of what I'm getting right now. Heavy wood notes. That's what I'm getting right now. There's a hint of creaminess. I haven't gotten to the creamy texture just yet, but I can see it developing throughout the smoke. I enjoyed it. Sounds like a good cigar to me. I hope it lives up to that. So Sal said he preferred the Red Meat Lovers ribeye. I'm gonna try to keep up, man, because y'all are chatting. I'm digging this, man. Thank you for everybody to hit that like button too. I appreciate y'all. He said I'd much rather hang out and than watch reviews. Me too. Intercourse. Me too. And don't get me wrong, I still support the homies when I'm liking this cigar. That I am getting the creaminess out of that. It's a great body to this. I still support the homies. I still watch, people's reviews. I'm still watching Roger. I still read Mike Cigar Carpenter's reviews. I still read Peter's reviews. I still go on to Half Wheel from time to time. I still watch everybody from the new wave. And when there are new people popping up, I try to go in. If people are telling me they're working on their channel, Stick God Travels, I check him out. If you know, you know. I try to check everybody out, man, when I have time. So I still appreciate reviews. I still think it's a necessary medium for everybody that's out there. I think it's important. I just felt like my time in this space was up. And it was just time for me, for a myriad of different reasons, it was time for me to move on. But building up to 4,000 subscribers, building up a community right now that you guys are sitting with me, 25 people for one dude for 2 hours, is crazy. That's crazy. So it's no way that I could kind of leave this behind. McAuliffe Black is a great cigar. This is from Cab. For the money, full flavor, earthy, pepper, caramel sweetness. I'm liking what y'all describing right now. I'm enjoying what I got so far right now. So my man Roger said, heck yeah, brother. Can't wait to have you on, man. I can't wait, man. I'm ready. So whenever y'all say it's time to go, it's go time. I'm gonna be there. I got my cigar. It's sitting. It's in the right spot, and I got my idea of what we doing with this cigar, but I don't know until I actually light that bad boy up. But I got an idea of what we doing. Yeah, the Warriors are still alive, man. I gotta say we're not dead yet. We're not dead in the water. Getting that win today was huge. These past 3 wins have been huge. The Lakers losing today was huge, and I was watching the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves, but that Western Conference is crazy right now. Anything can happen. So Sal said I like the live format way better. It's way more interesting and includes the community, no doubt. That's what y'all are here for, man. You do it, we appreciate it. I appreciate y'all, man. I can't not exist without y'all. Nothing exists without y'all. Nothing I do exists without y'all. If y'all weren't really like showing love for the thumbnails, showing love for the Easter eggs, and I was doing the reviews and stuff like that, if y'all wasn't showing out, hitting the subscribe button, people sending out bombs, the channel would have died a long time ago. And it gets kind of stressful when when you're doing the editing and all that kind of stuff. It has to be a labor of love. And there are times where I kind of miss having fun, being creative, but I just don't feel like what I was putting out, there was enough coming back. So it is what it is. And you probably got certain cats in here lurking and waiting to go back and tell their friends, and they're gonna do their comments, and they're gonna do their reviews, and they're gonna shit on me as a person. They're gonna shit on my channel, and they're gonna try to rip me for being vulnerable and all that. But it ain't no faking in the funk right now. When y'all get EKB up here, this is the same way. When y'all meet me in person, this is the same way I'm gonna be in person. And if y'all come to Japan, you can ask Man Stavro. This is me. You can ask Matt. This is me. You can ask all those guys from Roger, everybody. When y'all talk to me outside of doing the lives and stuff, I'm gonna be 100% me at all times. You know what I'm saying? And I love that y'all give so much back to me, man. Y'all keep this fun. I don't ever get bored doing this, man. Yeah, I found some incredible sticks for under $10. So, in the cost, why are we doing this right now? What are some of your favorites right now that are under $10? Let's kind of do that. Let's talk about some of those cigars. Rob said, "Yeah, I really enjoyed the lives as well. Ron Real used to do some nice lives as well. Yeah, I used to be in there. I was in there with you. It's like being in a virtual cigar lounge. If y'all remember when I first started doing the vintage cigar, that's what I was saying that I wanted the vibe to be for the channel anyway. That's what I wanted to be when I was on the rooftop, and I felt like when I was doing Smoke Your Best Cigars, man, the reception that I got when I started doing, especially even the pre-recorded Smoke Your Best Cigars, man, everybody was like enjoying that kind of kickback, and just shooting the shit, talking cigars, talking life stuff, man. And it was kind of therapeutic, not just for me. It felt like it was therapeutic for everybody. So I'm gonna keep this rolling, man. We ain't going nowhere. Sanchez said Anthony Edwards is a dog, bro. Dude can play. I love watching him play, man. And some of the dunks between him and John Morant, man, just they're like what Russell Westbrook, man. Russell Westbrook doesn't have that same energy anymore. So I love having cats that got that kind of dog mentality, that they ain't scared of nobody under the rim. They ain't scared of nobody on the perimeter. They can slash. They can do a little bit of everything. It's exciting basketball to watch, man. Anthony Edwards is an absolute star right now, bro. Do I do social media outside of your cigar stuff? Yeah, I got I have my Japan channel on Instagram while I'm in Japan. While I'm in Japan, I have that channel. It's not as active as it should be, just because it takes so much effort. But that stuff is still up there, and I got my own personal page, but I kind of keep that for family and friends. And I got a movie review channel that's going to be coming very, 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 very soon. He said, I agree with Memo Sanchez. Ant-Man is the right now. Y'all are the best, man. That 88 Cameroon is solid for under $10. Man, that's one of my favorite cams right now, bro. It's one of my favorite cams. And I know it seems like we gassing Sanj Patel up. Somebody just tagged me in a post not too long ago, saying, thanks for putting them on to Sanj Patel, man. And that was just dope as a shout out for one. But I'm giving that dude his flowers because the industry is going. I don't know if y'all remember The Wire, where Pooh was like, the world going one way, people going another. That's one of my favorite quotes from that show. But I felt like the cigar industry is going one way. Everybody's doing this whole Zodiac thing. Everybody's doing this, all these small batch, limited editions, anniversary, everything, and they're hiking the price up. Everything is $20, $40, for cigars. And Sanj is making great sticks for $7 to $12. I like that range. It's no reason, like everybody going through stuff, everything is inflated right now. It's no reason for rolled up tobacco leaves to be so expensive that you got to feel like you got to put a suit on just to smoke a cigar. It shouldn't be that way. So as long as, as Sanj is being the industry killer, as long as he's being the Zodiac killer, I'm ringing that man's bell right now. And I'm going to show him all the love, man, because when I smoked that Oreo's tail, the way that thing smoked, beautiful. That Cameroon, so much flavor out of that Cameroon. Like it was money. I got love for people like Jaman with definition cigars, that's making reasonably priced cigars that smoke really well. I don't like everything in his portfolio, but the Noir is a banger. His Cameroon is a banger. It's like I'm gonna show love for people right that are really supporting the consumers. The same way I try to do this channel, that I'm trying to show love to the viewers on my channel. It's the same way I feel like, what Rob was talking about with Saka. Saka has a whole lot of different price ranges in his cigar, but he got an Umbagog that you can go out there and get something just as good as the Micarita for a fraction of the price. And the way that he's communicating with the reviewers, he's communicating with the people who are buying his cigars. He's supporting the people that's buying his cigars. So I'm always going to champion somebody that's like that. Once again, the Juarez, under $10. It's a banger. Absolutely a great cigar. Roast Beef said it seems damn near turning into a cash grab right now for the cigar game. And it is, man. But like everybody right now, just in general, are trying to pad their pockets. Everybody's trying to pad their pockets. And I understand that everybody's trying to eat and everybody's trying to, to make a profit right now. I get that. And, there's a part of me that's like, that wanted to focus more on doing Patreon because I want to eat too. You know what I'm saying? I got mouths to feed. I got a car that needs gas. I everybody has to want to make money. You can't survive without money. But you like Sanj was saying, that if he can make 45 cents on a cigar and he puts out a cigar and it sells out, he's making more than enough profit. You know what I'm saying? The dude just bought his kid a $13,000 Protect. He's making money. So if he's making that kind of money, imagine what Fuente is making. Imagine what Crown Heads is making. Imagine what Rocky Patel is making. Imagine what Gurkha is making. Imagine what Davidoff, like anybody that's working for Davidoff right now. You feel me? Said under $10 Umbagog, and I can't wait to try that Umbagog bronze back, man. I'm so hype about that bronze back, man. I'm sorry I didn't think about that when somebody was asking, what else I was looking forward to. That bronze back, I'm looking forward to that too. Said the value of the dollar is less now. Shoot, imagine what it's like for the yen than it was when Sanj first put out the cigars in the 90s, yet he charges the same amount. How? The way he's doing that is that he explained he's making 45 cents off of each cigar. 45 cents. But when you think about 45 cents, if you keep collecting 50 cent, 50 cent, 50 cents, it's going to turn into $1. And that dollar going to turn into 2. And that dollar going to turn into 20. That 20 going to turn into 40. And it's just going to, like, it's simple math, man. And it's like you can make a profit without killing your consumer base. Because for the most, what I learned when I was doing these reviews, man, when I would do like a buyer's guide on budget cigars, that episode would blow up. I would get thousands of views off of that because most people are trying to find a reasonable price range. If you're talking about the factory smoke, people love the factory smoke. People love the Lot 40. You know, people love the 858. People want budget cigars. There's more than enough people in this cigar community that's not only smoking Opus X. There's a lot of people that are smoking a lot more than just whatever your premium cigar is that's out there right now. Not everybody's smoking my father. You dig me? Some people are trying to get cigars at a reasonable price. There's a whole industry of people out there that they're looking at, they just like smoking cigars. They're not into all the different flavor notes and all of that kind of stuff. They just want to be able to smoke a good cigar at a good price. They want to hang out and play cards with their friends. They want to have a beer. They want to have a yard guard. They want to smoke a cigar while they're outside working and working on their cars. Just look, we got Roger, Working Man Cigars. We got Cigar Carpenter. We got real blue-collar people. I'm a butcher. You know what I'm saying? We got real blue-collar people smoking cigars. So every now and then, why not get, you know, those people who are not trying to spend $20, $30, $40, $50 for their cigar? You don't have to smoke a high-end Plasencia all the time. Get a Plasencia Reserve. It don't have to be Alma Forte every time. So Sanj has found a way that's like, yo, you can kill the industry by making it up that he got enough money that he can eat. He can keep a shop rolling. He's going to be able to sell all the LFDs in the world. He's going to be able to sell, you know, whomever else is on the top. He's going to be able to sell Nick Melillo's Syngenta. You can go into his shop, you can buy all that kind of stuff. But if you're buying from his brand where he's getting just, you know, the money off the top, then that 45 cents is going to add up. Said a couple of tasty, cheap faves right now. This is coming from Rob. Is the Alec Bradley Project 40, the Cuba Libre, the Brute. A lot of people was into that Cuba Libre, man. I haven't smoked one in a while. JC Newman got the PDM. There's really good cigars out there. RP Fusion. Let's see. RP 20th Anniversary Maduro. Foundation Havana Seed. The Foundation Maduro CAOB X3, the Wise Man, most definitely, and the El Wednesday, most definitely. The same thing for the Charter Oak series, Leaf by Oscar. I ain't really the biggest fan of Oscar Valdez, but yeah, I feel you on that. Aliva V Melanio, banging, super banging. It's a lot of them out there, man. Sirlicious Cigars, Cocaine are good and under $10. I've never had his cigars, man. I think I kind of rubbed that cat the wrong way, but it is what it is. Latte Air is usually under $10 at my brick and mortar. That's a good one too. Latte Air is good. El Rey de Mundo. A lot of people have been talking about the El Rey de Mundo a lot recently. I don't smoke those a lot, Daniel, but I've been hearing a lot of good things about that. Intercar said, I'm loving Cigar Page. My Tupperdoors are stacked with great sticks, all at great price points. That's what I was saying earlier. I'm not against that at all, man. I think it's a smart thing, especially when they have those like fire sales and you can get bundles and you can get, you know, decent cigars. You can fill your humidor. So that time, like you can have those moments where it's time for you to smoke your best cigars, or you just want to go into your humidor. You just want to grab something that you know is going to be consistent. It's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Sanjay is wealthy without selling a single cigar. He was talking about that. Yeah, that's true too. But a lot of those other guys are wealthy right now too. Their brands have been going on for a long time. They're not broke. They're not broke at all. For under $10 euro, unfortunately. I know, man. It's tough for y'all, man, and it's tough for people in Canada not with the plethora of sticks to choose from. That's just a tough thing because that really it fell down. That has so little to do. This cigar is not as spicy as I thought it was going to be, but it is a full body smoke though. I can tell the strength is there. Um, that has so much more to do with more of the politics, man, than it has to do with the actual brands and the actual MSRP of the cigars. And that's frustrating within itself. So that's a whole nother thing that you got to deal with. At least the ash is holding on. That's a whole nother thing that you got to deal with, man. And I feel bad for people in those positions where they can't get a chance to really get the experience of having a diverse price range for their cigars. And that's another thing that matters in itself. It's like you don't have to have just cheap cigars, or you don't have to have just expensive cigars. The same way you should have a lot of different profiles that you got a Sumatra, you got a Corojo, you got a Mexican San Andreas, you got a broadleaf, you got, a shade, wrapper, you got a decent Maduro, whatever. The same way you got that much variety in your portfolio, you should have that same kind of variety in your price points. And you should be able to give, and I think that's what's really cool about Foundation, because you can have something that's in the middle, like El Wednesday or the Tabernacle. But then you can have like a Charter Oak series. But then you can kind of go up there. You can go up to a Syngenta or a Night Commander, and you can pay a whole bunch of money. But you still got something to choose from. Every single one of those lines has something that you can choose from. Every single one of those, you got flavor variety. When I was talking to Sanj about this, you got just with the 88, you got a Habano, you got a Maduro, you got a Connecticut, you got variety. That's the spice of life, man. And that's what this industry should be, giving. Everybody should be getting that choice to decide, okay, I don't have to spend $40 to get a really good cigar. And I don't have to spend $40 to get the best Maduro. I can go and get, Oliva Maduro. I can go to Oliva to get a Cameroon. I can go to Oliva to get a Connecticut. I can go to Aganorsa to get a Connecticut. Have that kind of variety. I just asked myself really bad. But you should be able to have all of that there, man. Yeah, I got mad love for Sanj, man, when it comes to that. Said it, so you got a wastewater plant operator. We got real blue collar people up in here, man. So we should really be able to have that variety out there. Yeah, shouts out to Tip Top Smoke, man. That like he's a cool cat. And just from the short times that I checked out, his selection, man. You got Neptune, you got Tip Top, you got Fox Cigars, you got Small Batch, you got some real cool places that you can go and really find, a lot of different, options out there. You can get single cigars, you can get bundles, you can get, deals and stuff like that, man. And Tip Top, once again, is somebody that shows love to all the different reviewers out there. And you got people that they're supporting the community, they're supporting with their Cigar of the Month clubs and stuff like that. They're branding, they're getting their name out there, they're getting the cigars out there. There's a way to build revenue without actually having to kill everybody's pockets and giving them a choice. So that's the main thing. That's what I really try to harp on. Even before I'm doing these lives and I'm getting on these soapboxes and doing these diatribes with y'all and and going off on these tangents. I was talking about this when I was doing the I Want the Smoke series. Because I was trying to do that show where it was long form, where I could really talk about in depth about what these brands are doing with a particular cigar brand, or with the particular cigar line, and going into the MSRP, because I feel like as a consumer, that's what you want to hear. That's what you really need from the reviewer. It kind of sucked that I felt like I was, that I was actually, doing all the marketing for these people, and I'm not on their marketing team. That's the part that sucked. But the bright side is, as far as like just being a purveyor of information and being able to give information to the people who are taking the time to watch the channel, or to converse with you and to comment on your show. I wanted to give something that was really informative, and that's what the buyer's guide was all about. That way I could. I'm back. I could lead people to Davidoff. I can lead people to Alec Bradley. I can lead people to Alec and Bradley. I can lead people into Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. I can tell you what cigars that I like. I can tell you about Southern Draw. I can tell you about Aventura. And I can tell you all the different cigars on that line. And then that way you can go pick and choose to see, is this at a price point that you like? Is this a type of leaf that you like? Oh, okay, you didn't know as much about Mexican San Andres. Now you know all the flavor profiles on that. Now you got some insight on what Nicaraguan tobacco is all about. Oh, we can talk about principle. Now we can talk about Zimbabwean tobacco. Oh, this cigar has Costa Rican in there. That way you're developing your palate, you're developing your wallet, and you're developing, just your overall knowledge of different cigars. That was the fun part about doing the reviews, and the fun part, and I feel like I can still get that off right now just doing these lives. Yeah, my favorite spots, Keith, are the spots that has the singles, man. So, cause like, I'm not the type of person, I'm not buying boxes too fast. And before I even buy a box or even decide whether something is box worthy, let me get that one single, and let me get a single of that Aventura. Let me get a single of that West Tampa. Let me get a single of what Eric Espinosa is doing right now. Let me see what that new release. Oh, that Florida Silver. I don't even know about this cigar yet. What's Dapper doing? I got 5 different cigars right now, and I can delineate. Okay, this one is going to be $10. This one is going to be $6. This one is going to be $12, and I'm not breaking the bank. Buying $200 for a box of cigars, and when I get that box, it ain't box worthy. I like having that bit of variety. Peter, what up, man? Yo, everybody was saying they're not getting the notifications, man. That's crazy, yo. I don't know what's up with that, man. I'm glad you came on either way, though. I can't really tell you where to go for the Sanj joint just because I'm on YouTube right now. I said it on my live the other day on Instagram Live. But if you Google Insomniac, should I smoke this? If you Google Sanj Patel, it'll pop up. It'll lead you right where you need to go. Intercost saying Southern Draw is kicking so much ass. Their Lanceros are fan fucking tastic. I like Southern Draw, man. I like Southern Draw a lot. I haven't smoked any in a while, but I was on a Southern Draw kick for a minute there. Sanchez said he on that single life for sure. Roger said I've only bought 2 boxes and I bought those blind before trying them, and I ended up, and both were kind of shitty. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like, if I buy a box, it got to be something that I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna love this. There's a few cigars that are absolutely box worthy, but even still, with just the way that I smoke cigars, it really doesn't work for me to do that. Like, if I bought a box of Micaritas, that would probably be a smart thing for me to do, because I know I will go back to those on a regular basis, and that investment is absolutely gonna be worth it. I can say the same on an affordable side. If I buy a box of Melanios, I think that's going to be worth it. I know I'm going to keep going back to that cigar on a regular basis. That's always going to be worth it. I feel like when you talk about buying boxes, I hit my B&M to get singles before I buy a box, for sure. So and that's like, you're killing on a lot of different levels right there, because you're supporting that B&M, and you also kind of like walking yourself up into whatever you need to get. And I think that's the right way to do it. Honestly, I have to use these different online sites and all that kind of stuff, because If it wasn't for people sending me bombs, the only way that I would ever get cigars is actually getting stuff shipped to me online. That's the only way. Like, I'm in a absolute desert when it comes to cigars where I am. And I kind of feel the same way with like what Pan was talking about being in Europe right now. He's not gonna have the same selection. The majority of the stuff that you're gonna get outside of the States is pretty much gonna be, you're gonna get a few of the New World cigars and the rest is gonna be Cubans. Right there, that's gonna kill your pockets. And you don't get the choice that you want. So those online sites help a lot. And some of those online spots are still mom and pop spots too. So you're still supporting the mom and pops. But I would much rather be able to just go. I miss when I was in Cali, man. And I could just go to Cigars Unlimited. Or I could go to Cigars Mosfino. Or, you know, it was a couple other spots that I used to go to when I was out in Fresno. And I could just go in there. I could walk in the humidor. I can walk around. I could search for whatever I wanted. And I could just pick and choose what I was in the mood for that day. Then I could just sit down, got a comfy seat, and I could sit there and chop it up with people the way I'm chopping it up with y'all. That's my favorite cigar experience. Like, you don't get much better than that. This black is a lot smoother than I expected it to be. It's pretty smooth. I bought a box of the Mortal Coils after smoking a few. I like the Mortal Coil too. I know that cigar is kind of controversial with a lot of people, but I think that's the right thing. You know your palate. You know you enjoy that cigar, so that's well worth getting the box. All right, man. So tonight I had, since you were late, I had the Davidoff that you sent me, that year of the dragon. I had to put it out right here, man. I was done. Like, fuck Zodiac, man. And I don't want to say it like it was like the worst cigar that I ever had, because it definitely was not that. It definitely was not that, and it was actually pretty solid for a Davidoff. Year of the Dragon. This is the one you sent, Peter, and I wanted to do that. That's why I named this one, you know, Smoke Your Best Cigars. The Zodiac is speaking. I'm the Zodiac killer today. And I mean, it was good. It's such a big cigar anyway. And, you know, by the time that I got down to that last third, it was completely washed. I wasn't really getting anything from it. So then I moved on to the McAuliffe Black. So I'm digging this McAuliffe Black right now. It's pretty solid. So Sanchez said the Bandolero 54 Adventurous. It was that. I don't know if that was the one I had. I think I had like a Series C or something like that from the Bandolero. I think that's the only one I had. Shouts out to United Cigars, man. Like, some time ago when I was doing reviews, he saw me. I think he saw my Atabey review, and y'all know I love that Atabey. And just off the strength of that Atabey, he sent me a whole box of just his stuff from Bandolero. He sent me a Byron. He sent me all of the United stuff, just the regular United line of cigars. There was a couple more things in there. That was a couple years ago now. But it was just cool that he sent a handwritten note. He said, yours is the Serie A? Okay, bet. I like the Bandolero. That Bandolero was solid. The other cigars are just pretty, you know, they were good, you know, budget cigars. And he sent me a ton of Atabeys, so I was hype about that. He sent me a bunch of Atabeys, whole bunch of Atabeys. And like, if I really wanted to like spend money like that, yeah, I'm not really feeling the Byrons either, man. I'm not feeling the Byrons at all. That's just like, it's like a washed out Davidoff. That tell you everything you need to know. And once again, it's in that high price range. But I like the fact that when United sent me that box, he sent me just about everything in the price range. And that was cool. So once again, it was that variety is the spice of life, man. And it really, I got a lot of respect. That's why, like, I've never said anything negative. Oliver was really cool when he came into my inbox. You know, he was just like, hey, man, I watched the review. You do a great job. I want to send you these out. I want you to try them out. Let me know what you think. I think that's, and he's like, I love the Atabey too, man. Thank you for giving us so much love on that. And we had a nice little conversation. So I feel like when people offer that kind of customer service, and not the fact that it was free, but the fact that this is like, hey man, you doing me a solid, I'm gonna do you a solid. All right, Roger, peace to you, man. Thanks for hanging out with me, baby. And just the fact that like the way he approached it gave me nothing but respect for him. Intercar said, when I win the lottery, I'm going to smoke so many Atabase. Word up. You got to get that Maduro too. That Maduro was banging. I still like the OG better, but yeah, I feel you on that one. I got lucky, man, that he sent me so many of those Atabase. And to be for real, I was trying to put so many people on to the Atabase that I sent out probably half of the Atabase that he sent me. I smoked a lot of them, but I sent out probably half of those. And then my man Jerome, that's out in Saudi Arabia, he sent me a whole bunch of Atabase. That was just the universe just kind of giving that back. Sometimes you got to pay it forward. So. That's why when it comes to the United brand, man, like I don't have anything negative to say about them. I didn't love every cigar, and I speak openly about how I feel about Alfonso and how I feel about Byron. But as a whole, just the way they were doing their thing, man, their marketing is good, and their social media presence is good. The way he was, treating, different people that are in the review side of things. That's how you do business, and that's the same thing that I was talking about with Pravada, man. Like I feel like Brian is messing up because he has all the tools to do as well as Oliver did, and he has all the tools to do as well as Crown Heads. If you would just if you would treat your purveyors the same way, if you would treat the same way that you're treating all the people that are praising your company, I think he could go a lot further. And customer service is everything. When I was a butcher, man, I felt like my shop did so well because we try to give the best customer experience. We try to give everything at the best price range. We try to give everything in the sense that we were educating our customers that were coming in. We made the shop fun. You could look behind the counter. You could see everything that I was cutting and breaking down. You could see it going into the vacuum seal. You could see it going into the case as we were cutting it. You could see the whole process. You saw how you literally saw how we made the sausages. Literally saw how we made the sausages. And I think when you give people that kind of insight into what you're doing, I think the same thing goes for the way I treat the vintage cigar. You guys get to see the ins and outs of my humidor. You guys get to see the crib. You get to see, how I feel about cigars. You get to see my thought process. You get to see how I treat everybody that comes into, the DMs. You get to see how I treat all of my friends. You get to see the ins and outs of it. That's how you network. That's how you do business. You know what? Roast beef. I've never had that. My Uzi weighs a ton. KFC. I've never had that Kentucky Fire Cure cigar. And I remember when that was like a couple years ago. I remember when it was at its height and everybody was talking about that cigar. It's just one of those things that I never took the time to buy it when I was doing reviews, and it just never got sent to me. And it's one of those, it's like, I was curious about it just because of it's a different curing process. Like, say, for instance, when my man was talking about, I think it was Rob, when he was talking about the Arcana series, when he was talking about the Mortal Coil. I get so hyped with the Mortal Coil and the Arcana series, even the Firewalker, because I like the fact that they were kind of going outside of the box to try to give you a different flavor profile. And I felt like the Kentucky Fire Cure was doing the same thing. I like when, instead of just doing infused cigars, where you're doing a different way to cure your tobacco to give it a different flavor. I'm here for that. I'm here for it. I'm here to taste different things. I don't want to just taste all my cigars tasting like leather. I don't want all of my cigars to taste like cedar. I don't want all of my cigars to taste like hay. Give me a vegetal note. Give me a tea note. Give me Give me like Kentucky bourbon. Give me something that is gonna take this cigar and completely separate it from whatever else is out there. You know. So I know I don't know enough about it, but I got nothing but respect for that cigar. Did I have two? You had two bad Davidoffs today, or did I have two bad Davidoffs? What you saying on that one, work? My bad. Yeah, man. You know what? I haven't even decided like which size I like the most with the Atabays. And honestly, I haven't had a bad Atabay yet. And I think when I was smoking them, I wasn't even paying too much attention to which Vitola I had at the time because I was just happy to light them up, man. Like it's almost like a treat to get an Atabay for whatever size it's gonna be. And like I think the last I got two more left, and I know one of them is the Lancero, and I haven't had the Lancero yet, so I'm kind of excited to try that one and see what it's gonna be about. I don't know the names of it. I'm horrible with pronouncing all those weird names anyway. So Keith said, I'm trying to gamble with cryptocurrency and make Atabay funds, man. Good luck on that one right now. If you got some Bitcoin, you might be all right for the moment. You can use some of that money to buy some Atabays. And you know what's funny when it comes to that? Y'all know how I am with those like super high end, heavy cigars. I don't like paying more than $30 for a cigar, period. And two cigars that I will for sure spend a decent amount of money on is the Eye of the Shark and the Atabay. But I'm not jumping out the window to buy them all the time. You know what I'm saying? Sal said I bought a few hats from Crown Heads a while ago, and I received a thoughtful handwritten letter from John Huber thanking me for buying his merch. Now that's customer service. I got a couple handwritten notes from Huber that I saved, and I got some from Neptune Cigars, and I got some from Fox Cigars. But yeah, that's what I like about John, man. John shows love to his customer base. He shows love to his community, and he putting out good cigars. Once again, I know I talk about Crown Heads a lot, but that's part of the reason why I talk about Crown Heads a lot, just because of the love that he shows to the people that are supporting his cigars. So Sanchez, you like that Firewalker too? I know a lot of people are kind of like on the fence about that Firewalker, man. Straight campfire. Yeah, man. Mike, I know a lot of people say that Millennium is pretty good, man. It's not like my favorite, but I know it has a great reputation. So I'm not mad at it at all. That number 2 that I had yesterday was actually pretty damn good too. But every now and then you get something like that chef special. That joint just tastes like a paper bag, man. So you have certain moments with that. But that's the thing with Davidoff. If you find the ones that you like, you good. That's why I did that buyer's guide with Davidoff, because I wanted to kind of say like, okay, these I'm not the biggest fan of Davidoff, but if I'm gonna recommend any Davidoffs, these 4 I would recommend to you for sure. You know what I'm saying? And who knows? I don't know what influence that may have had on people who were buying Davidoff at the time, or trying to spend their money on Davidoff. But I hope that helped a lot of people out. All right, Sanchez, yo, thank you for hanging out with me, baby boy. I really appreciate it, man. Y'all the best, man. I know it's late for y'all, and I'm probably gonna go to the end of this, and we're gonna kick it. Since the chat ain't really going off right now, one thing that I wanted to talk about is right before I got on, man, I saw that Lou Gossett Jr. had passed away, man. And y'all might be younger. Yeah, I know a lot of y'all are younger than I am, man, but I saw that. All right, man. Peace of love. That Japan boy is funny, man. I see that. My man Daniel, be safe, bro. Lou Gossett, man, was one of those cats that I grew up watching him, man, and he reminded me of the old heads that I grew up with, man. He was like the especially in the 80s and the 70s when it wasn't a lot of representation for us in movies and in Hollywood like that. Lou Gossett was everywhere, and he's like one of those cats that's like Sam Jackson, that like he was always old, and the fact that he had, that he survived as long as he did. I hope they give that man a lifetime achievement award or something like that for being just a phenomenal actor, man. Oh yeah, Inakosh, you did tell me you were 54, man. That's right, and he's an absolute legend for sure. And for me, when I think about Lou Gossett, man, one of my favorite movies when I was a kid was The Principal, and it was Jim Belushi and Lou Gossett Jr. And I can't wait to do a review on that, man, just because I want to be able to just kind of talk about Lou Gossett, man. Like he was the everyman. I used to rock the gray sweater with the sleeves cut off, man, just because I wanted to, be a cool old head like Lou Gossett, man. That was just such a good movie at the time, and it was just fun. And do y'all remember the movie The Crow, or was it called Crow? And he played the alien. And I remember being a kid watching that movie, man, and it was like the first time I ever seen them do a science fiction movie like that. When he was a male and he was able to get pregnant. That was like when I was a kid. I remember sitting back and watching that. That's why I want to do my new channel called 80s Remote, man, because those are the type of movies that I want to talk about, man. And Lou Gossett was like, he seemed like one of those cats that would never die. You know what I mean? He seemed like one of those cats that was going to live to 100, 120, It's just kind of dope. Hey, Keith, man, thank you for hanging out with me, baby. I know everybody's going to fade out, man. We winding down, so it's all good. That was such a great movie, man. I remember being a kid trying to talk like Lou Gossett, and like trying to talk like the accent that he had as the alien in that movie. That always blew me away, and I would try to like make that weapon that he had with the claws on it. I would try to make that out of paper as a kid. That stuck with me. Iron Eagle is an absolute classic too. Dang, I almost forgot about that one. That's definitely a classic, man. And like just the poise that he played, that he had in that movie. Like Lou Gossett could play just about anybody. He was an everyman. And that was kind of dope. The same thing with The Principal too, man. It was just I might go downstairs, man, and put that on and watch that, man, just and take some notes on it to do it for the show. Thoughts on the Black right now. Excellent body, the perfect amount of pepper in here, and it gives you like a spiciness on the palate that like it's hard for me to describe. It's really earthy and woody. It's like having like a spicy coffee. So it gives you, it's a good coffee note in there that's not your normal coffee note. The texture on this, the texture in the body on this is phenomenal. The retrohale is probably the best part of this cigar because you get that spice across your sinuses, man. And it's not something that's just like, like I'm doing like Hound Dog, and I'm like, oh God, I can't take this. It's the right amount of pepper note that's in there, man. This is really good. This is really good. It's way better than what I just had. All right, Rob, man, I know it's 2 a.m. for y'all, man. Thank you for hanging out with me for as long as y'all did, man. I appreciate you. Y'all show so much love to these lives, man, and y'all make it fun. Make the conversations worthwhile, man. So thank y'all for kicking it with me for this long. Yeah, he was a super badass in The Principal, man. Like, I wanted to be like him so bad, man. I can't even front, yo. It was just one of those things, man, because he reminded me of my uncles, man, and he reminded me of the old heads that were on the block, the cats that work hard, but they was like a wealth of knowledge, and they could do a little bit of everything, He just the old head. You go on the basketball court with him, he can hoop. And then you find out he an athlete, he can play football too. He was the dude that could throw a long bomb. Or he was the dude that could talk to you about your schoolwork and all that kind of stuff, man. He was that kind of dude. And I think it's different for me because I get vulnerable up here, man. I tell you guys all the time that my pops passed away when I was a baby. So for me, like those cats like Bruce Lee, I tell everybody that Bruce Lee was my dad growing up. But Lou Gossett was like one of the like having an uncle. You know what I'm saying? And he was one of those cats. Officer and gentleman. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all are with it, man. And this is what I was hoping, man. I was really hoping that y'all was gonna be able to kind of go down with this on this. It's like I don't get in my feelings when a lot of celebrities pass away. You know, I'm not that dude. But I really felt like Lou Gossett is an absolute legend, man. And I really thought he was gonna last forever. And he was one of those cats that like he disappeared from the spotlight over time. And I knew he was old. I knew he was really old. But it's just kind of cool to see, man, that he got a legacy that lasted that long, man. The dude is a class act. All right, Mike, man. I hope the phone didn't smack you in the face, man. Be safe, bro. Yeah, man. It's kind of like when you have people like him, man, that are that talented and are that poised, that can bring that much charisma and to bring that much talent to just about anything, where you can put on a suit and somebody can believe that you're a general, or you can put on you could be a security guard, you can be an alien, you could he could literally do everything, and he had that face, he had that personality, like that's an absolute legend, man. So Enemy Mine. I don't know if I saw that one or not. Lou Gossett was. Oh, that was Enemy Mine. That wasn't Kroll. Kroll was the one that had the Cyclops. You got me. Enemy Mine. You're right. I always messed up the name of that one. I did that as a kid because I only got to watch it on public TV. So yeah, appreciate you checking that and correcting me on that one, Daniel. But I had the movie down when he was the alien and he had the weird accent and he was pregnant. And I remember like being a kid, man. I remember watching that scene, man. I remember being really sad when he died. But the dude was still. Was that Dennis Quaid? Yes, you said it was Dennis Quaid, and he still had the baby. Man, that's such a good movie, man. Yeah, yeah, and that's like his voice was crazy, and just the way like the way dude carried himself, man. And, like he was the dude that was at the barbecue. That would come by at the barbecue, man. And he would come with like the best food. And he was the dude that had a real cool car or something like that. But he was just he would talk to all the cats. He would talk to your aunts and uncles and he could just chill, man. So I don't know, man. He made a good impression on me and kind of helped me develop into the type of man that I became. You know what I'm saying? So that meant a lot. Ben said I wanted to watch Commando because a short I saw today, he's dead tired. Oh, that's the scene where Arnold is with the dude with the Jerry curl and he was losing his hair. He's on the plane and he smacked him in the face and he killed him and he snapped his neck on the plane and he was like, hey, can I get a pillow for my friend? He's dead tired. Commando is so ridiculous, man. Commando is so ridiculous because there's so many one-liners in that movie that's like that. And after that, like Arnold Schwarzenegger goes to the back of the plane and he gets into the landing gear and he opens up the landing gear and he climbs out, and when the plane is going to land, he's hanging off the landing gear and he jumps into the marsh. Like I love that movie, man. Even at the end, I won't spoil the end for you. Like, but when he, what's the guy that he was fighting against, man? What was his homeboy? He had a Matrix. His name was Matrix. What was his boy's name in the movie? God, I can't think about it. I can't think of the guy's name right now. I'm falling out. All right, work. Thanks for hanging out with me, homie. But when he killed the dude, man, at the end of the movie, man, his one line at the end of that, when you Fred, what up, homie? Ben, when you watch this movie, man, you got to come back to me and tell me what you think about what you think about Commando. Commando is one of my all-time favorites. when I got a list of movies that I'm gonna do from the '80s when I do a review for them. Commando is on the top of my action list. That is one of my all time favorites, bro. I love that movie, bro, dude. And I was absolutely in love with Ray Don Chong at that time. Sully, Sully, when he, hey Sully, remember I told you I was gonna kill you last? I lied. Drop my man off in the gym. Bennett, let off some steam, Bennett. That's it. That's it, man. That's my movie, man. That's my joint. Here's the thing, though. So, as a kid, I was in love with Alyssa Milano. I was in love with Alyssa Milano from that movie all the way to what was the Tony Danza show that she was on, all the way up until watching Charm. I was in love with Alyssa Milano, man. That was my chick. But Ray Don Chong is to this day is still probably one of my favorite crushes of all time. And my wife kind of looks like Ray Don Chong. Like that is that serious. Ray Don was she was it, man. Her and Alyssa Milano was everything. That's my movie, man. I gotta watch Cobra again. Cobra is the Stallone joint. That's back when action movies were everything, man. Cobra is one of those movies like I was too young to get Cobra. Cobra was a little bit more mature than what Commando was. It wasn't like Death Wish. It wasn't like Predator, but I want to go back and watch Cobra again. See, I need to see that one again to really get a feel for what. There's a story about Cobra was actually supposed to be another movie, and they wouldn't let Stallone make it. So he said, "F it, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna make Cobra on my own." So it's a whole lot behind that, man. And sorry, I'm losing my little bit of trivia on that. Adam, what's up, homie? How you been? Intercar said, how Tommy Chong made such a beautiful daughter is beyond my understanding. I've been trying to figure that out my whole life. I want to see. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because Ray Don Chong, to this day, is still absolutely gorgeous, man. She's still gorgeous to this day. Even when she got the salt and pepper going, she's still beautiful, man. And I fell in love with her. I don't know if y'all remember this. I don't know if it was like, it wasn't Tales from the Crypt. It's Tales from something, where she played like a damsel in distress, and this dude kind of like found her like on the street. It had something to do with like a gargoyle or something like that. And the dude got attacked by a gargoyle just randomly at night. And the gargoyle was like, I'm gonna let you live, but you can never tell anyone that you actually saw me. He said, you got to keep the secret for the rest of your life. And if you ever, he said, if you ever tell the secret, I'm going to come back for you. So he found Tales from the Dark Side. I think that's what it is. I think it's Tales from the Dark Side. So he ends up finding, Ray Don Chong is like a damsel in distress. They fall in love or whatever, and they end up having kids, and they have this beautiful life. And because they were so tight, he was like, yo, I got something. He was like, I can tell you everything. And he was like, you the best thing that ever happened to me. I want to tell you about something. And he goes back and he finds the gargoyle, like a statue of the gargoyle. And he was like, this thing actually came to me, and this is what happened to me. And she broke down into tears, and she was a wreck. She was so gorgeous. And she was just like, why did you tell me this? And he was like, because I trust you, because I love you. He was like, I could tell you anything. And she turned into that gargoyle and killed the dude, and the kids turned into a gargoyle. That joint messed me up as a kid, man. That was one of the coolest things, man. But I was so in love with that chick. Anyway, I think that was Tales from the Dark Side, man. I always get Tales from the Hood, Tales from the Crypt, and Tales from the Dark Side mixed up. But blame that on my dyslexia. Intercar said Cobra was great. Even I have rights. Don't I? Pig. I know that line, but I don't know it as well as I do from like with Commando, because I watched that movie so many times it don't make sense, man. So I got to watch Cobra again. But see, I don't want to watch it again because what I want to do, I put that on my list of action movies that I got to go back. So now that I'm watching it as a 43-year-old man, I want to like compare it to what my knowledge of that movie is from when I watched it as a kid to being an adult. That's the whole theme of my show. Yeah, Tales from the Dark Side. So y'all checked on me on that. Thanks for correcting me on that. You're a disease and I'm your cure. Wasn't that Stallone that did that one? I love the fact that y'all love this shit just like I do, man. I'm glad I'm ending this on a good cigar too. I like this black. It's way different than what I expected it to be. I thought the cigar was gonna be a lot stronger, but it is strong in strength. But it's like it's not like super strong like a Jacob's Ladder or something like that. Oh man, what cartoons did I watch? That's a great question. That's all I did. I'm a diehard Tom and Jerry fan. I absolutely love Tom and Jerry. Like that was my favorite as a kid. That's what I watched all the time. I was just talking. Somebody asked a question on this was the McAuliffe Black, Adam. Somebody was asking me the other day, what death, of a fictional character affected you the most, and that is hands down when Optimus Prime died in the Transformers the movie. I'm classic '80s kid. He-Man, Brave Star, G.I. Joe, the Centurions, Silverhawks, He-Man, Transformers. Like, for me, on Saturdays, man, it was just me and my brother, and my first cousin who was like my brother. Every Saturday was like, we got up and we watched the Smurfs, we watched Cubert, we watched Pac-Man, and then we would watch, after that was over, we would watch the Saturday morning Kung Fu. So that was my thing. Thundercats was like me and my cousin. Yeah, a lot of people don't remember Brave Star, yo. Thundercats is my joint. And you couldn't tell me, because I love Bruce Lee, you couldn't tell me I wasn't, what was my man name? Dang, I'm getting old, man. Was it Thundar? Was it Thundar, the cat that had the red and blue nunchucks with the claws on the end? You couldn't tell me. I think that was Thundar, man. You couldn't tell me it wasn't Thundar. Star Blazers. I don't think I remember Star Blazers. I think because what I forget was what was the barbarian cat? Was it Thundar the Barbarian? Where he had Eat and Bleep. He had the two blobs that they didn't speak. They Eat and Bleep, and he had the sword that he would put together, and it would grow out. That was my joint, and a lot of people forgot about that one. Brave Star people forgot about all the time. The Centurions people forgot about that. I used to watch Cops. As you can see, like I was a latchkey kid, so like I said, I didn't have a pops. And my mom worked all the time. My mom was always working. So I lived by the TV. I taught myself how to cook. And I would just sit there and I would watch cartoons all day long, man. That's what I survived on. I would walk home from school and I would sit there and I would just watch cartoons. So I lived off of that joint. I put my kids on to the Animaniacs. They love the Animaniacs. I love that joint. Almost dropped my cigar. What else? What was the joint from? I think it was a '70s cartoon, but they used to play it in the '80s, and it was the dude who, whenever he would get wet, he would turn it. He could turn into a car, and his hands would turn into the wheels, and he would turn into a red car, and whenever he would get wet, he would turn back into a human. Does anybody remember that one? He said, "Let me go find Gallagher." No doubt. I had an Atari, so I played Gallagher too. Played Gallagher all the time. GoBots and Thundercats. GoBots is cool And what a lot of people don't know is GoBots actually came first before Transformers. It's just Transformers was just so much better than the GoBots. I actually want to get Fred. Now that you're talking about that, man, like down at my wife's store, they got the little handheld games where like only thing you need is the controller, and it has like the classic Atari controller, and it's like the simulator, and it has like all of the Atari games. We had that, and we had a ColecoVision. Did anybody else have ColecoVision? You remember the cartoon? I can't think of the name of that. Because my brother loved, because he's older. My brother's 5 years older, so his favorite joint, he loved Captain Caveman, and he loved what's the cat with the Mach 5 speed racer? That was his joint. Since I was a little bit younger, I like the dude that turned into the car. Freakazoid was good too, man. Like that whole line, that whole universe that was like the WB cartoons. I was getting a little older when those joints came out. TurboTech. Yeah, man. It's funny, like you go back. If you try to watch Thundercats or something like TurboTech now, when you're older, like those cartoons were super cheesy. Same thing with Super Friends, with and Spider-Man and Friends. Like you go back and you watch them now, they're super cheesy. But you couldn't tell me nothing about Super Friends and the Legion of Doom at that point in time. But if you watch Thundercats now, like they're so juvenile. Like the storylines are like, oh, it's like, how did I watch this as a kid? But it was everything. That's why I love the fact now, like they're doing like X-Men '97 right now, where they're taking something that was older, and then they're beefing it up and making it better for people that are our age, that we can go back and watch it. Like I probably, if I went back and watched TurboTech now, I would probably be like, yo, this is horrible. Yeah, I'll probably be like, yo, this is trash. But that was my everything. Do y'all remember the Hanna-Barbera joint where they had, I think it was the Hanna-Barbera All-Stars. And the Hanna-Barbera All-Stars, where they would have like, they would have Muttley, the dog that used to laugh like that. They would have Yogi and Boo Boo and all that. They would have Josie and the Pussycats, and they would have to race, and it was a competition. So they would have to do like they would have to race or go through all of that kind of stuff. I can't remember what the name of it was. Was it Wacky Races? Is that what it was called? It might be it, man. But I know it was like every week it was a new competition, and they would have to score and see who would win at the end. I'm old as hell, man. I know it. Speaking of, how old are you, Enzo? I don't think you've ever told me, man. He said, wasn't the Wonder Twins, this is Fred, he said, wasn't the Wonder Twins an 80s cartoon? The twins were out there. So the Wonder Twins actually came from the Super Friends. So when they originally did the Super Friends, it was just like, it was all like the main superheroes. It was like Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Batman, the Human Tornado. I can't remember. I think that was the Samurai Cat. And what was the Native American cat that he would say Electra, and he would grow. And then you had all like the Legion of Doom, and you had Lex Luthor, Solomon Grundy, the Gorilla Grodd, all of that kind of stuff. And later on, when they did it, they had to make it so it was more kid friendly. So they brought in the Wonder Twins, and they Wonder Twins activate, and they would put their rings together. And the girl, she could turn into just about anything. She could turn into like any animal or whatever. She could turn into a lion or a leopard or whatever the case may be. But the dude was so whack because he could only turn into inanimate objects. He would turn into like a bucket of water or something like that. They were so goofy. The one, yeah, see, that's what I was about to say, Intercourse. I hated him as a kid too. Solomon Grundy, yeah, that was my man, yo. I still love to see Solomon Grundy, like when I'm watching, because I still watch cartoons now. I'm a grown ass man. I still I watch all the DC animated joints, yo. So, and when they show Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, I still watch all of that shit, man. I'm a big nerd, man. If y'all ain't noticed, man, I'm a big nerd, man. I love all this shit. He said he would get my cousins in Mexico to record all of the Dragon Ball Z episodes on VHS. He used to premiere earlier there. Oh, that was smart. That was smart. I love see, I was kind of getting older. I was like in high school when Dragon Ball was really hitting, especially Dragon Ball Z, and Toonami was really getting big, and Cartoon Network and all that kind of stuff. When I was getting big, I was getting a little older. I was still watching because I would stay up to like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning cleaning my shoes and stuff like that. So when it came to Dragon Ball Z, I would watch that, man, but I would get frustrated because I always felt like they were trying so hard to put like Dragon Ball Z on cliffhangers, and nothing ever happened in that show. You would watch like hours of Dragon Ball Z, and then like Frieza or Cell would finally show up, and then like Goku was like died for like the 15th time, and he would finally make his way back from the spirit realm or whatever, and then he was about to throw a spirit ball, and then it would stop and be like, next time on Dragon Ball Z. And I'm like, yo, man, nothing happened on this whole episode. I sat here and watched this whole thing. I just watched the marathon of Dragon Ball Z, and nothing happened for like 6 episodes. That used to frustrate me to no end, man. Oh yeah. So that era with I remember like when I started watching the Boondocks, I wasn't really into the TV show like that. I still remember like what's my man name, man? That R. Kelly episode and Bootylicious. That's still funny to me. That's hilarious to me. But I was like on Boondocks from like back when it was still like in the comics. I used to like actually read the newspapers for the comics for that. So I like that's when I fell in love with the Boondocks. The show was alright to me. By that time, I was watching like Samurai Jack and Afro Samurai. Those are the joints. Like Samurai Jack, I can still watch that like right now. Samurai Jack and Dexter's Laboratory. I still love Dexter's Laboratory. Those are the joints that I was like, okay, that's what I'm trying to watch. I don't really remember the Ventura Brothers like that, but Black Jesus is good too. That's good comedy. You said cleaning shoes. Did you stuff your shoes back in the day? You talking about like it's 2 ways that you can mean with that one, roast beef. Like when you would have your extra sock and you would put the extra sock on top so you make your shoes all puffed up, or you would like after you clean your shoes you stuff them so they keep their shape, and you had to clean them with a toothbrush. So me and my cousin, what we would do, we would get Dawn soap, we would get toothpaste and baking soda, and we would clean our shoes like that. I was horrible at keeping up with my shoes. But like when my mom would actually give me like something like some Reebok pumps or something like that, yeah, I did the sock on top too. I did all that. I did all that. Y'all saw the other day, man, when I was showing y'all my sneakers and stuff like that, man. I ain't had the money to be like a real sneakerhead, but I was a sneakerhead. I bought some Penny Hardaway. I bought the Series 2. I bought the Penny Hardaway 2s the other day just because I couldn't get them when I was a kid. I love Penny Hardaway. Penny probably would have been my favorite player other than Jordan if he didn't get hurt. So I got the first pair of pennies, but I couldn't get the second. So I just bought a pair of those the other day, and I had some neon green Reebok pumps, and I would sit there and I would clean those every day before school, and I would stay up till like 2, 3 in the morning cleaning my shoes and watching Cartoon Network. So yeah, I did all of that, man. Man Dark, yeah. Man Dark. Oh, and a lot of people gonna hate because Man Dark made me think about my other show that I used to watch during that time was the Powerpuff Girls. I still love Powerpuff Girls. And Mojo Jojo, my daughter was like 2 years old. I was like 19 when I had my daughter. So I got her, I put her on the Powerpuff Girls. And I used to do the Mojo Jojo, impersonation for her, man. She used to think that was like the funniest thing in the world, man. So that's good times, man. I love that y'all can sit back and chop it up with me like that. Fred said, I just got some OG Ewings. What colorway did you get on those Ewings, man? My homeboy came to school because I had just got a fresh pair uh, of the Nike joints. What were they, man? Not the Air Raids. The Air Raids was the Tim Hardaway joints with the cross strap on them. They was the Jason Kids. They had the Jason Kids. They had the bubble on the back and they had the checkerboard in there. I came to school with those joints. I was trying to stunt on them. I was trying to stunt real hard with those joints. And my man came to school with the orange Patrick Ewings the next day, and I was like, "Ooh!" He hit me. Those are so tough. But the Patrick Ewings are like big. They like super bulky. Harvey Birdman, that was a good one too. You know, I was mad. I was mad during that time. Birdman made me think about, man, because they had the Birdman show, and they had Space Ghost. Me and my brother used to watch the original Space Ghost. So I was kind of mad when they took Space Ghost from like the original joint, like when he used to fly in space and he would shoot the yellow beams out of his hands. And then they did the Space Ghost show and he was a comedian and he was doing like a late night talk show. I watched it, man, but I was like, I wanted like the real Space Ghost. That joint, Space Ghost and Danger Mouse. Remember watching Danger Mouse and they had, what was my, Banana Man? Dude, the fact that like I can still remember these cartoons from like 30, 40 years ago is crazy. Space Ghost. Space Ghost and Birdman was dope. Like you had Space Ghost, Birdman, and Danger Mouse. Oh, you had the white Knicks joints. Those are flames too. Those are absolutely flames too. Said Rowdy Rough Boys and the Gang Green Gang. Yeah. The Gang Green Gang was underrated. I do remember that. Yeah, that's underrated. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that. Yeah, they redid Danger Mouse too. They did like a new series of Danger Mouse, man, but it wasn't built for this millennial generation, man, and the Gen Zers. It wasn't really built for them. And he said, "Where's Carmen San Diego?" No doubt. My daughter used to love that joint, man. That's the other chick. I can't remember what her name was. The black chick that was on Carmen San Diego. She was like the lieutenant or whatever. I can't even think of what her name was. I was sad when she passed away too, man, because she was a legend too. So anybody that grew up in the '80s like that, man, like watching Carmen San Diego, like she was always there, man. She was a classic. She's a legend. All right, y'all. It's been 3 hours. Time for me to go in. Yeah, she was in Lean on Me too. Yeah, that's her. That's her. Oh man. Y'all got anything else? What else we want to put on the table, man? What else y'all want to talk about real quick before I get up out of here? I know I say this all the time, man. Y'all make this whole thing worth it with the vintage cigar, man. Sit back, smoke y'all best cigars with me. Get to talk all the stuff that I don't really get to chop it over about. I can't talk to people in Japan about Space Ghost, man. I can't do that. I can't vibe with nobody, at Izakaya right now about Carmen San Diego and Lou Gossett Jr. What new sneakers do I have coming soon? Uh, I just spent so much money on sneakers that I got to give it a rest for a little while, man. What I'm waiting for right now is the re-release of the Jordan 4s. They just did the black joints. They just did the re-release on them joints, and I want to get the black 4s. But that's like really the only thing that's got me like super hype right now. I just saw that they did a re-release of the Nike Flights. They got the same sole as the Jordan 4s. Those are really dope too. They got them in a black colorway and they got the white colorway. Um, the Anthony Edwards is some. I want to get Anthony Edwards' new sneaker too. Those are flames. Anthony Edwards' new sneakers are killer right now. So if I can get my hands on those, I just saw that Damian Lillard got some new sneakers too. That's on the way. They just had those up there, so I don't know when they're gonna get released yet. But Damian Lillard got some new Adidas that's gonna come out that look like they're gonna be pretty fly. He said he placed the order for the Dion joints. I want those too. I want those, and I want the old school Ken Griffey's. Because I never got a chance to get those as a kid. They got all gold Grant Hills. Say word. Nah, man, I didn't see those, so I gotta go look for that. Any sneakers from back in the day that you wish you could have now? For me, it's the Brett Favres. I don't remember the Brett Favres. It's a lot of them, man. It was a lot of sneakers that I didn't get a chance to get. I had the Air Raids. I had the Jason Kidds. I just got the pennies that I wanted real bad. Oh, you know what I want? And they released them probably like 4 or 5 years ago. The old David Robinsons. They the super high top Nike Force David Robinsons. If I can find those, I want those bad. I did see the new Kyries, man. I did see those, you know, and I like what the Chinese shoes are doing. I like Anta, and I like the Way Away joints. But when it comes to the new Kyries, I like the fact that he was like, he kind of put like the Wakanda kind of script up there. It's almost like Kemet or hieroglyphics. And I like the fact that he made the front of them look like some moccasins. That's dope to me. I think that's real fly. But what I don't like, I think the shoes are just a little bit too busy for me. And that's my only drawback to them. Like, I know they're going to fit well, because one thing about all the Kyrie shoes fit like you know, they're perfect for just walking around lifestyle shoes, and they're perfect for actually hooping in those. But I don't know. That's one that like I might have to see them like in person and actually try them on to see if I actually like those. I'm not 100% sure. And it's a sneaker culture in Japan. Like, they love sneakers out here too. Like, but I'm not in Tokyo. So I might have to go all the way up to Fukuoka to see if I can find those shoes, to see if I can rock those or something like that. I'm not 100% sure like how I really feel about those new Kyries. I'm kind of on the fence. But the design idea that he put into those shoes, the colorway on them, it's all fresh, man. But I don't know. Maybe I got to see them in a different colorway too. And see, that's the way I'm feeling, Sal. Like, I don't know if I could rock them or not. I kind of feel like I could. But then it's another side of me that's like, I don't know. They're kind of busy. Oh, I forgot about the Elijah ones. Weren't those sporting? I think the Elijah ones were sporting. I would rock those just because, one, they're sporting and not a lot of people will be rocking those like that. And two, it's Elijah one. I just love Elijah one. Was like my dude back in the day, man. And so just off the strength of whether like they're the flyest shoes or not, I would rock them. I would rock them just because I love Elijah one like that. I didn't really like the Vince Carter joints with the shocks in them. I didn't really like those like that. Those I wasn't really feeling those. And like a lot of Kobe's old stuff, I wasn't really feeling. I do like the Pro Trolls and stuff that they're doing right now. I could rock those. It's the same thing with Steph. I like Steph, but I don't really like Steph sneakers like that. They don't really like. I like KD. I think if you think about the people that really got a nice line, I hate to say it, but I like LeBron's line. I like KD's line. Kyrie always made nice shoes. Kyrie got a nice line. The Lucas are all right. I got my son the Zions. My son was rocking the Zions. He was looking pretty good in those. I ain't really hop on them for myself though. They were Spartans. Yeah, people was clowning those Spartans back in the day, but dude, man, that's a Elijah one, man. The T-Maxes, they coming out for a re-release. I'm waiting to see. I had the Bubba Chucks. I had Allen Iverson's joints. I don't think I ever got T-Max, but I did have the Allen Iverson. So I'm kind of waiting to see what Shaq and what Bubba Chuck are gonna do with the Reebok line, since they're the president and the vice president of the sneaker lines now. I'm kind of curious to see what they're gonna do. What I want though, now that I'm thinking about it, I want the Bubba Chucks. I think they were the answers. I can't remember whether they're 4 or 5. The 4 and the 5 kind of look alike. But whichever pair he had on when he was playing against the Lakers in that final series, when he stepped over Tyronn Lue and he had the black and gray Iversons on. I want those so bad. So the moment he re-released those joints, I'm hopping on them. I don't care how much those joints cost. But see, the thing is with the OG answers or the questions, the ones with the toe cap on them, they re-release those like once a year. So I'm not, or maybe every 2 years. So I'm not really sweating those because I know they're gonna come back around again. But the threes I didn't like at all. They were too chunky. But it's the 4 or the 5s, the ones that are black and they got the little silver bar across them and they got the joint in the front. Those are the ones that I want him to re-release. And people don't love those sneakers like I love them, but that's the ones that he need to be promoting right now. That's the ones that he wore when he made the run up against the Lakers. You know, those ones got the best story to them other than the original questions. So we're gonna see, man. And plus, you know, I'm Hampton Roads, VA, man. So my best friend actually went to Bethel. His other friend that, you know, his other best friend that lives in Virginia, Kiam, him and Iverson are still tight to this day. So they out. They the 4s. I haven't seen those, man. Are they out right now? You sure? I'm gonna go look for those when I get out of here right now. I'm gonna go look for those. If you talking about the ones that I'm talking about, man, if they out right now, I gotta hop on those. Yeah, I saw the Michigan State joints. I saw that, and that's why I'm like, if it's not the OG colorway, I don't really get too hype about them right now. They still look good, but I don't get too hype unless it's the original colorway. What was I gonna say, man? I was gonna say something that you made me think about with the Iversons. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Damn. You're talking about the 4s. You're talking about I got some of the Hirachis. I got some Hirachi lows. I got black and white Hirachi lows. They kind of beat up right now, but I had to get those. I should have got the all black joints, just off the strength of the Michigan Fab 5. The all black Hirachis with some black socks. I'll rock those right now, and they were only $99. But I just bought the white pair because they went with an outfit. And I left the black ones in there. And then when I went back, they had got them all. And that, you got to be careful because, like, where I am here, like, if they actually release some sneakers like that, if they put out something that's dope, when those military ships come back in, they buy up everything. So if you don't get it, like, right then, it's gone. Yeah, I remember the slip-on joints. Yeah, they fresh to death, man. That's a good look. It's a good look. All right, fellas. I'm going to take it in. I'm going to probably go watch a Lou Gossett Jr. movie right now with my fam. Kick back and chill. Hey, Fred, if you see that re-release before I do, shoot me a message when they release, man. Because if I don't catch it, sometimes I don't catch wind and stuff like that, man. Intercourse, much love to you, homie. Said Sanj got to see more of him. Peace. No doubt. Till the next episode, man. I don't know when I'm coming back. So it might be a few days before I do another live, just to kind of give you all a heads up and do some housekeeping real quick. Coming up, though, tomorrow, again, we're going to be celebrating Matt with Cigar Hound Dog for reaching 20K on his channel. So mad shouts out to the big dog. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow around the same time that I started this live. I think it's around noon my time. I think it's going to be 7 o'clock on the West Coast. I think that's what it is. And then sooner or later, I got the Unbanded coming up with the Cigars Unbanded. I'm going to be on the live with them. And aside from that, I think it's next week, we got another Infamous Smoke Show. So that's what the Vintage Cigar is going to be. Until the next episode, cheers to y'all. Continue to smoke your best cigars, man. Thank y'all for tuning in with the kid, man. Thank y'all for all the likes. Thanks for hanging with me for 3 hours, man. Y'all the best. Y'all stay up. Peace.